up and take some of that heat that McStay used to do for Brisbane. So that's actually something I think that is probably undervalued that McStay gave the footy club. So yeah, that's something that they're going to need. But they've got some great new run into the side, which is really important.
You look at the four that they've brought in compared to what they lost. Tom Berry, we don't know how good he's going to be. He got a couple of taste of senior footy, didn't set the world on fire potentially. McStay's the one that you look at and go, yes, he's valuable to the team. Mitch Robinson was in and out towards the back end of his career. So I think they've brought in four that can walk into that senior team and potentially lost one out of that, so that they get stronger again. Over the page, you look at Geelong, the one that they've lost is Selwood, who we know is an all-time superstar of the game, instant Hall of Famer. But what they've been able to do from a premiership team, Fowles, Henry, Clark, Braun, they've brought in some super talent as well. So this is a really exciting contest to see where both teams are at. Do we see Brisbane, any game plan changes to how they've played in the past? Number 2 in the competition last year for kick to handball ratio. Do they go a more run and gun handball style? They love the stoppages, we know that. They've probably got stronger in that area again, particularly in the front half. And then you look at Geelong, they're just so strong all over the park with the way they play.
They are, and the Cats defensively, I think just the most organised defensive side I've just about ever seen. They've been absolutely superb and so well drilled, so mature, as we know. For Brisbane, I think defensively, they were number 10 last year for scores conceded, and that's premiership sides are a top 4 team in that department, scores conceded. So defensively is the real area that Brisbane needs to elevate their game going forward. They've been a high scoring side, but that defensive aspect, that's what goes a long way to winning premierships, and they need to improve in that area.
It certainly does. And you look at Geelong's profile from last year, 2022, number 1 offence team in the competition, 99 points a game for. Number 1 defence team in the competition, 66 points again. So they're doing it at both ends of the ground. If they get the ball in the front half, they are dangerous. But Brisbane are the same. So it's going to be a great contest tonight, and both these teams would imagine be right up there.
Marcus Adams, long-term injury list. You talk about the defence, Blackie. That is we saw how much they missed him late in the season. Obviously, Connor McKenna, a possible addition down back as well. But Marcus Adams, invaluable to this Brisbane side.
Yeah, well said, Funners. The amount of chop-outs that Adams gave and gives Harris Andrews is really invaluable for that back six. So here's a big loss. So they're going to need someone to stand up back there, and his courage and his intercept marking was as good as anyone in the competition. So he's a big loss back there.
Not too far away from the first bounce. Let's talk about the Cats. The Cats, they've got a new captain in Paddy Dangerfield, missing Cameron and Hawkins in attack tonight, and Jack Henry out with foot surgery. So his brother Ollie Henry, Tyson Stengel, kicked 7 goals between them against the Hawks last week. So they've got a bit of a smaller forward line. With Cam Rayner switching into defence, be interesting if the Cats try and test him out, maybe get Paddy Dangerfield as a deep forward and see how well he can defend.
Yeah, I think Dangerfield's going to start in this first centre bounce, so he will certainly drift forward. I'll let you boys take over from here, but really looking forward to this contest.
In the middle of Brighton Homes Arena, ready to get this practice match underway. The reigning premiers Geelong taking on a team with premiership aspirations in the Brisbane Lions. It's big Oscar McInerney and Reece Stanley to do battle. Neutral tap down. Dangerfield with the first clear possession. The new Cat skipper gets it rolling to the outer side. Overrun there by McKenna. Parfitt missed out on the grand final last year. Was the emergency. Deep kick inside forward 50. Rowan just dropped it to the fall of the ball. Henry just arrived from Collingwood. Joins his brother. He's not out there tonight. Wants an early touch. Parfitt, another touch. Snapping around the body. But Rayner, playing goalkeeper, marks on the goal line.
In that new role across half-back on the last line of defence, he's now found Darcy Wilmot camped in the right-back pocket. Debuted in elimination final last year, played all 3 finals, and he drives them long out of defence. Hipwood from the side. Guthrie over the back. It comes down to McCluggage, just got his kick away, tumbling ball up towards the wing. There's Stewart, the vice-captain, in towards Radicalea. They held on to him. He turns and kicks it up towards left half forward. Rowan going up, just lost the ball in the lights up there. Quick hands from the Lions, and they are away up to the wing.
McCluggage with a laser. Finds Hipwood, centre wing, near side, corridor kick is on, it opens up now. Dunkley, McCluggage didn't stop running, he keeps moving. Quick hands, he put Bailey under all sorts of pressure. Hughes wrapped him up. Umpire let it go a very long time. Tanner Broome, the former Giant, now a Cat. Outlet handball. Finds Tom Stewart. Gets rid of Hipwood, dances inside, has players to his out, finds Myers. Clever kick around the body, finds Stengel.
With that hippie whipping type action. Stengel now, a long way from home. Starcevic on the mark, just backward of the wing. And he's called to play on. He'll just have to dump it up the line. No, he tries to sell some candy, but can't get around Starcevic. Handball up the line to Myers again. Short little kick. Travels the required distance, and now to Adkins, looking to pump the Cats into attack. Short lead there from Parfitt. And he's been called to play on now. And he's just going to drive it boundary side, left half forward flank. As Henry sets himself, getting into Jack Payne, who's back as a key defender, will fill that role that Marcus Adams out for the season. That void there. So boundary throw-in, left half forward flank. No scores here at Brighton Homes Arena. It's the Lions and the Cats, the McDonald's Areem Hot Water, Triple M Rocks footy.
Yeah, free kick to the Brisbane Lions here, but you can see how well Geelong set up behind the ball. Every time there's a long kick down the line, they've got 3 or 4 competing in that contest. Great coverage at ground level. So we know they're missing a few tonight. We expect the Brisbane Lions to probably win this game, but Geelong's team structure is just so well set up.
As Zach Guthrie drives it in deep, Harris Andrews with the sit for the fist. Clean by McCluggage. He's been superb in the early stages of this one. Nice bit of run and connect here. Is McKenna, the former Bomber. Retired 2 years ago, went home to Ireland, won an All-Ireland Championship, and now he's back and he wants to win a competition. As Dunkley and Danaher mix it amongst themselves. Danaher does not have a right foot, finds the left, deep inside forward 50. Stanley with the mark. Simon Black, Tom Rockcliffe on the Triple M Seabo Super special comments this evening. Seabo Super making hard work pay off.
Yeah, that's a great example, as Rocky was just saying. Just how well organised there. When the ball left Danaher's boot, there's 2 spare back before Geelong. They always going to be advantage position the way they get back and organise themselves so quickly.
Jed Hughes just came off his toe there, I think. Will just drop short in front of Ollie Henry. Has a bit of space on Harris Andrews. Tried to sell some candy, but sold himself, fooled himself. Should have been holding the ball, but wasn't. Dunkley goes to ground. Picked up by Gunston. Did he throw it? I think he did. Advantage paid. Holmes is away through the middle of Brighton Homes Arena.
Explodes through the corridor. Kick was misguided, though. Found the waiting chest of Big Jack Payne. He goes to his new co-captain, Andrews. Chipping ball, corridor, McCluggage on the logos. Playing on quickly, moving with pace now, the Lions. Perfectly weighted kick from McCluggage. Finds Gunston, the new recruit. Right half forward, dump kick to the top. Oscar McInerney will fly. Brought it front and centre. Here's Ashcroft, the number 2 draft pick, for the first goal of the game. Touched on the line by Holmes. First score is a rush behind of the Brisbane Lions. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Yeah, from Geelong's point of view, we've seen Dangerfield start in that centre bounce. Now he's playing at full forward, so we may see a little bit more from him this year. He's a 33-year-old now. His legs, we've seen that he had his issues last year, got himself right for the finals, but I'd imagine we'll see a lot more of that. Start in the centre bounce, drift forward. We know how dangerous he is as a forward.
Yep.
A Ben Graham type torpedo from Zach Tui into the middle. Simpson turns and handballs to Ollie Henry. Now to Tanner Bruin. Away through the middle. Back to Ollie Henry. Can he hit up a pass? Looking for Dangerfield. Payne, well read. Close though. Good spoil. Picked up one-handed by Dangerfield. Too close. Handball a little bit too hot. They should mop it up here. Rayner. Oh, handball missed the target, cleaned it up himself. Stengel forces him out of bounds in the left forward pocket. Cats attacking and Rocky.
That's alarm bells. Simon Blackie just touched on that before the game, how weak defensively Brisbane were last year. They just got walked through from a kick-in, which is the time you should be set up defensively.
Practice match underway. They should be switched on from the outset as McCluggage gets another kick, a clearance on this occasion. Meeting it hard was Gunston, finding Dunkley. Drop the footy. Should be a free kick. Cats is. Holmes will take it left half forward. This young man, the heartbreak story of last year's premiership. Ping the hamstring late in the prelim. Ruled out. He's going to drop it to the top of the square. They'll need a fly. No Tom Hawkins out there tonight, so they're somewhat devoid of tall targets as Andrews gets a clearing kick to the outer side. Foot race on now. O'Connor leaves it to the boundary. O'Connor, the man who benefited from Max Holmes' injury, he got to play in that premiership, Blackie.
Yeah, he sure did, and performed very well too. We just saw Harris Andrews clearing the ball there, made co-captain yesterday with obviously Lockie Neal, and he's had a rough couple of years with his body, Harris Andrews, so important he gets a bit of a run at it this year, and he's been, dual Australian, so very important. Great to see him get that leadership role. Very deserving. Great young guy. Tom and I both saw him come through as a young guy in the footy club. Great guy, great family, and he'll be a good long-term leader for the footy club, no doubt.
So what do you think of the idea of having co-captains?
I'm a one-man captain.
Was there a one standout? Like, who would you have made the one captain? Would it have been Harris or Lockie? Or Hugh?
Lockie Neal would be my pick at this point in time, yeah.
So we're back in action now. Devon Robertson as the pack gets on top of him. Guthrie and Tui. Triple M C-Bus Super Special comments, Tom Rockcliffe.
Can we just clear this up? Tom and Simon's just so too formal for us. It's Blackie and Rocky.
Yes.
We all happy to go with that. So getting weird up here in the commentary box so far.
Snap around the body. Jack Payne been really good. Got the opportunity late last season when Marcus Adams was ruled out, and he's looks to have made one of the key back spots his own. No Darcy Gardner tonight, obviously, for the Lions. He'll assume one of those posts when he's ready to go, as Andrews just overcooks it over the head of Rayner. We'll have a boundary throw in left half forward. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. This is Triple M footy prime time for Jim Beam. That's not the right credit. The Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Got a misprint on my sheet.
Red Z leading stats as well. Last year, the Geelong intercept score, 60% of their score came from intercept. So again tonight, they're so well drilled behind the footy that they just set up so well, rebound off that. They don't have the weapons in the forward line at the moment to be able to complete that, but you can see the style they play.
It's a hot footy 20 out from the Cats goal. Big tackle there from Harris Andrews. Just wrapping up Tanner Bruin. Almost got him a little bit high, Blackie.
And if you compare both forward lines, this is where Brisbane need to improve. Their small forwards really need to buy into the defensive part of the game, keeping the ball in their forward half. Geelong small forwards do that so well, exceptionally well. You see the ball being rushed out of bounds there in the forward pocket for the Cats, but it's the Stengels, it's the Myers, the Closes, these type for the Cats that they really value defence, and the Brisbane Lions small forwards, that's a big part of their area of their game that really need to work on this year to elevate their scoring as well, and their defence, it starts there.
Boundary throw in inside the Cats forward 50. It's been camped here for a while as Andrews again goes around the body. Quick kick. Gets to close to Conning. Smothered off the boot. Neal releases Dunkley through the corridor. Thumping kick. Foot race on. Leading back towards goal. Gunston, the old man, new team, kicking truly for the first of the evening. Jack Gunston, 11 years, 3 premierships as a Hawk, and here he is as a Brisbane Lion, kicking the first of this practice match. 1-1-7. The Lions, Geelong yet to score. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon making every tradie's job easier.
Yeah, Harvey Norman replay there. Outstanding pressure from Brisbane at Geelong's half forward line, and they just went direct, straight down the middle, and it's good to see Gunston get on the end of that. I mean, they've moved out to Springfield, the Hawthorn Footy Club retirement village out there, isn't it? The Brisbane Lions at the moment. They all seem to come up here for their retirement package, Blackie.
Yeah, it sure is, mate. Several up there, and that's the best way, as you say, getting over the top defensively. Play fast, go direct. This great organised, talented back six. The way you get through them is playing direct and fast. Great example from there from the Lions.
Out of the middle, Bailey tried to get boot to ball, but not quite, off his shin. Centre half forward now, Lions in. Simpson sells his teammate into trouble. Tackle should have been rewarded from Pryor, but wasn't. Atkins goes in with the right hand. Slippery ball comes out. Lions have numbers. McCluggage tried to balk around Stewart. Good unselfish kick on the left. Has found Eric Hipwood almost directly in front, about 25 out from goal.
And that sums up Hugh McCluggage in one little piece of play. It could have blazed away. A lot of players there would have blazed away on their right foot. Probably snapped it for a point, but he stepped off his right foot, back on the left foot. Just saw his teammate in Hipwood out to his left. Just a neat little 15-metre pass. Classy footballer.
So Eric Hipwood, 25 goals from 17 games last year, coming back off an ACL. Should pop this through for the Lions second. And does, straight through the middle. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. And the Lions have kicked ahead. We'll get you an around the ground score in a moment as well. But Brisbane 2-1-13. Cats yet to score. And Choice Hotels around the grounds. The Pies in another close one. They've beaten the Hawks by a goal tonight in Launceston.
But they certainly did. They made it their own last year, Collingwood. But really good there from the Brisbane Lions. And my man, Zach Bailey, I've got tabs on him already. He's going to be an absolute champion of the game, I think. He's just the way he moves and the things he does. But he just got a little soccer on that. Very clever in the centre square bounce. Just got the momentum going Brisbane's way. And then their pressure that we spoke about just previously, Blackie, about the Lions lacking in that area. Their smalls, they were really good then. And then Hugh McCluggage, an outstanding wingman. How he hasn't been All-Australian yet. Just held his width and then finds Hipwood on the lead.
Ball back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. Triple M Rocks footy. McDonald's score a quick fire 40 with 40 chicken McNuggets and Cajun dipping sauce from Macca's. Free kick's going to go to the Cats from the start. Segler.
That might be me on the way home, Blackie.
I think that's where Camps is. That's why he's not here.
Jono Segler drives it deep. Dangerfield came out strongly and then seemed to lose the flight of the football as Andrews again mops up for the Lions. It'll be a free kick to Charlie Cameron here. Just Jed Hughes getting into the back. Charlie out there, the dominant small forward of the competition for the last couple of seasons, and yet Tyson Stengel, the All-Australian small forward last year.
Yeah, you look at Tyson Stengel's story from where he was on the dump heap, and by his own doing, that's why he was there, that's why he ended up in the scrap heap. But the way he turned himself around, went down to Geelong, turned it around, I think his performances last year and in those big moments were outstanding, and that's where you'd love to see Charlie really stand up in these big games. When he gets that extra pressure on him, when he gets someone following him around, you'd love to see him break the game open.
Building here, the Lions. Coleman, beautiful kick. He found Zach Bailey all on his own, just inside the 50. And Zach Bailey will line up from about 40 out. Great build up there from the Brisbane Lions, Blake.
Yeah, they're moving the ball well. They're shifting the ball, changing angles, and getting a good look with their kick inside forward 50 with a bit of space. The player coming at the leading player from shifting the ball, and that's really well orchestrated a few times now.
Yeah, Cam Rayner having a few possessions in that chain. Some good signs that might work out for Chris Fagan, switching him into defence. Zach Bailey's kicked more than 30 goals a couple of seasons in a row, and he's drifting that beautifully from left to right. The Lions have got 3 in a row, 3-1-19. Cats are yet to score. And we've got 10 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Yeah, really good start from the Brisbane Lions. We expected this tonight. We expected them to come out and get the better of Geelong. We know there's a few stars missing from that grand final team last year, the premiership winning team, but you've got to be impressed by what Brisbane have produced tonight on all levels. That they're moving the ball, they're looking to take that corridor on, which I think they haven't done in the past. And Blackie, I'm just looking down the team sheet here. Will Ashcroft, born in 2004. Does that make you feel old at all?
Well, I played for 10 years with his dad, so yes, it does. Yeah, no, look, he's obviously a beauty. So much been spoken about Will Ashcroft, but the one thing that strikes me when you look at him, he's strong. For a kid at 18, he is powerful and strong. So what a great get for Brisbane. What a great big year he's going to have, no doubt.
Ball back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. Triple M Rocks footy. Cats looking to answer back. Still yet to score as Tanner Broom sends it deep inside forward 50. Harris Andrews, his fist has had plenty of the football so far in this game. Robertson stood up in the tackle, dropped the footy, holding the ball. Parfitt to take the free kick for the Cats. 70 from home. Goes low, aims for the pocket. Numbers again for the Lions, and you can see without Tom Hawkins, they just seem devoid of a clear, tall target inside forward 50.
Yeah, they certainly do, and Jeremy Cameron's not there as well. This is where Tom Hawkins is a real strength for Geelong. These forward 50 stoppages, he takes the ruck. Danaher's in the ruck for Brisbane at the moment. You just imagine Hawkins throwing him out of the way, snapping a goal.
Well, it's Dangerfield who elected not to contest a hit out. Came down to Kadeen Coleman. Hurry kick, high ball out of defence. One-on-one was Hipwood and Radicalea getting down low. Radicalea into Devon Robinson. What a handle there from Lockie Neal. Ended up with Ashcroft. Tumbling ball to another one-on-one. And Jack Gunston, I think, has given away the free kick to De Koning. Might get some Triple M Red Z lending stats from you there, Blackie.
Yeah, for the Lions, Hugh McCluggage leading the way with 6. Harris Andrews 5, Jackson Payne 3. I'm sure Lockie Neal's had more than that, but he's not on there. Tanner Brule for the Cats has got 4, Holmes 4, and Atkins 3.
Triple M Red Z lending stats. Red Z lending loans for the self-employed. REDZED.com.
Just while they're at half-back, Brisbane controlling the footy here. Would you like to see more games in the pre-season, Blackie? They've had the one practice hit-out or whatever it is, and then one practice game and then into the season.
As a player, I didn't like many practice games, what about you? But I was pretty keen to get straight into it.
That's because you were winning premierships.
I think you were the same, were you?
Yeah, I was the same. But would you like to go no practice games straight into it, or do you think we're at the right mark now with one sort of trial game and then one pre-season game?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I like it. Yeah, I like this way. What about yourself?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's a good opportunity as Geelong go forward here.
Boys getting a good hit out so far tonight, though. Dangerfield dropping one he'd normally take. Gave it off to Henry, snapping around the body, and still the Cats yet to score as that one bounces across the face of goal. We'll have a boundary throw in left forward pocket for the Cats.
Yeah, I think it's a good feel, but again, I look at a superstar like Patrick Dangerfield tonight. I don't know whether the sweat's got him there, staying up at Broadbeach for 3 or 4 days, but he's just fumbled a couple of times. you don't want to carry that into round one. So hopefully they find a little bit of touch moving forward.
Again, Danaher, Dangerfield contesting this boundary throwing. Cats forward 50. Dangerfield flipped it out to Myers, but the umpire has decided to throw it up. A lot of players around the footy. Danaher gets his body in front of Dangerfield, off a couple of bootlaces. Myers handballing forward, taken around by Ashcroft. Now to McCluggage. Oh, how good was that from Ashcroft? Strong from the young man with a great head of hair as well. Slipped through the fingers there of Stewart. Bailey now tackled by Stewart and taken over. In fact, it was Devon Robinson, and will throw it in just forward of centre towards.
Did Ashcroft just shrug a tackle from Dangerfield?
On the Harvey Norman replay, we're just watching here. Yeah, Dangerfield just reached for that and
start calling him Dusty.
Beg your pardon. Excuse me, Will. First game play. Yeah, yet to play a senior game, I guess. Triple M Harvey Norman replay. Kick off the new season at Harvey Norman as the Lions send one out of bounds on the full. Be a free kick to the Cats.
I'm not sure I remember Marcus Ashcroft ever shrugging a tackle.
Well, he kind of, with that hair, he kind of looks a bit like Scott West for that hairstyle. Getting no support for that. Yeah. Absolutely none.
So sure about that, mate.
Back call Flanners as De Koning drives the ball up to a pack of players. There's McCluggage. Buffered over the line by a couple of Cats. And we'll throw it in again.
Maybe back to the newsroom for you, baby.
I'm going to Google Scott West.
Maybe Mark Akalupo.
You're all going to eat humble nuggets.
Cam Guthrie has the footy.
Unfortunately, we're on a audio media stream, so
just to, no matter just what to convince Google. You two.
Cam finds brother Zach. Zach chips it all the way back to the logo centre wing. Tom Stewart, the VC, All-Australian. One of the great stories of players that didn't take the traditional route into the AFL, and he is a star of the game now inside forward 50 again. That lack of forward option, tall timber, is proving a problem for the Cats. It's almost as though Dangerfield's playing an understudy to Tom Hawkins, but without the size. He is taking the boundary throw-ins and the ball up, but he obviously doesn't have the muscle that Big Tomahawk brings to these situations.
Yeah, incredible that he thinks he's Tom Hawkins-esque, but they clearly have a plan when they go inside those 50s. That's what they're going to do. That's what Geelong go after, and they normally execute it beautifully when Hawkins is there. Unfortunately, tonight, he's not there.
Radically as they flip the ball around, forced to chase up the loose footy. Wobbling ball into attack. There was a Geelong player who went down. In fact, it's a Lions free kick. Payne will take the advantage out to Tunstall. Drop what he should have taken. Handball missed its target in Coleman. Now the Cats get it back. Hot hands Guthrie. Now to Tanner Bruins, had a bit of the footy. Out wide to Zach Guthrie, and he sends it up the line to Myers.
It's always good this time of year. The boys have so many small in tight handball games. Their hands are so elite. It's just like a bit of soap up here, this footy in Queensland in March. So I think like there's a bit of fumbling going on, but their hands are elite at least anyway.
Yeah, it certainly is. You'd love to hear from B down at ground level. I'd imagine that Jew has set in and very fumbly at the moment. Both teams moving forward.
Let's go down to Bing. Hope that they don't blow the siren while we're across to certainly get another one of those screams. B, what's it like ground level?
They've blown the siren 6 times, and every single time the people around me laugh. I cannot stop jumping. It is. Anyway, it's not too dewy on the ground at the moment. I think it's just sort of first game jitters. You know, everyone's just trying really hard to get clean hands on the ball and perhaps rushing things a bit. There is a bit of a wind picking up, though. I'll let you call that behind. But wind picking up directly across the ground, blowing in my face, about 25 k's an hour. So gusting. So that's probably making the flight of the ball a little unpredictable as well.
Keeping the dew off the turf as well. There is close. Got a score on the board for the Cats, a minor score. Bob Jane team have great buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cashback deals. Caller order online today. T's and C's apply.
Geez, I thought the Lions were going to go end to end, but Stewart has picked up the footy and got it off to the run of O'Connor. Sends it to left half forward. Big fist came from Brian Myers. And we've got a boundary throw and 50 out from the Cats goal, Rocky.
But you just see how well Geelong's system works. They were out. They went straight down the middle. Lockie Neal, no pressure, goes straight forward. Geelong was still good enough to cut that off before it got to an inside 50.
And one man, Tom Stewart, just read it beautifully. Anticipates as well as anyone in the comp, doesn't he?
Boundary throw in, left half forward for the Cats. Still yet to get a major on the board. 3-1-19 the Lions, an 18-point lead. Ball in the hands of Atkins. Gets it to Broon. Swinging kick around the body, and he's pulled it too far. The GWS Giants were big fans of this kid, but he wanted to come home to Victoria, and the Cats might have found another one here as they bring him back in. The Lions, that is, to Dan Rich, who just continues to plug away and add to the games total, which is getting up there now on the all-time list for the Lions. Coleman, shin the footy corridor, gets it back from Bailey. Chooses to hold on to it that little bit longer. Now kicks up the line. Beautiful hit up. It's in the hands of Charlie C. Inside forward 50.
And he screws a pass just down low to Jack Gunston, sliding in, just taking the mark in the field to play in the left forward pocket.
You just look at that play from the Brisbane Lions there, and I think nearly every leadership group player touched the ball all the way through. Daniel Rich, Charlie Cameron, Jack Gunston.
All 11.
We've got 11. Geelong have got 2. We don't know what method's the best, Blackie. I think we're both in the boat of being 2 in the leadership group instead of 11.
He's going to kick that around the corner. The snap just across the face of goal. It's been marked before it went over by the big O. Oscar McInerney getting down low and taking a nice mark on the goal line.
And he is vitally important for this Brisbane Lions side, isn't he? He's really elevated his game. He had some injury issues late last year, but he's an absolute beauty.
Hands it off to Danaher. He snaps it through, and Joe Danaher gets on the board in this first quarter with 4 minutes remaining. He gets his first. The Lions have their fourth. 4-1-25. The Cats have 2 behinds. That is on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
It's just Oscar McInerney, Rock. One of the things I love about him, he can go forward and take a mark. And obviously very invaluable for a ruckman to be able to go and do that. And that's what Oscar, lovely tap hand in terms of being a ruckman, but his ability to go forward and get involved and maybe crash the packs, which McStay did. He's no longer there. Is even more important. This going to be this year for Brisbane.
It certainly is. I don't know how they're using their interchange benches tonight, but if Darcy Fort plays, it gives Oscar the ability to go forward as well. So really important structurally for the Brisbane Lions. If they have those 2 guys, McInerney and Fort, available to play, makes such a difference to their weapons in the centre square bounce, but also in their forward half.
It does. It's interesting, the one with Danaher last year with the shoulder issue, and Fagan came out and said how much he admired him for continuing to battle on and play. I would have thought they'll probably play Danaher as a backup ruckman this year, and Darcy Fort may struggle, but I guess time will tell.
Ball back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. Triple M Rocks footy. The Cats still yet to kick a major in this one. Ball inside forward 50 once more. Now an opportunity presents itself. Ollie Dempsey works it via hands to Guthrie. Gets it back. No, Guthrie opts to hold on to it. Saw something corridor that he liked. Didn't hit the target though. Quick hands off the deck, and once more the Lions clear their defensive 50. Resolute. They don't want to give up a goal here as O'Connor finds Tui. The Irish boys combining. Stewart touched off the boot. High floating. Opting for the line is Dunkley, and we'll have a boundary throw in left forward pocket.
Geelong are up here at Broadbeach for, I think, 3 or 4 days before the game and 3 or 4 days post the game. They actually look like they're on holidays at the moment. The way they're playing, it looks like their heads just aren't there 100%. They're about 95%. And as you know, if you're 5% off in this game, you get found out pretty quickly.
Inside 50s, 19-6 Cats way, but yet to kick a goal. 3 minutes remaining opening term. The Lions by 23. Comes out to Kadeem Coleman. Sockers it into the path of McCarthy, who's away. Kicks over the wing. It's 2-on-1 Cats advantage. Radigalea from behind on Gunston. Did well. Picked it up. He's looked good in this first quarter across the back line, and it's a high wobbly ball. Payne gets up. McInerney juggling the footy, got into the path of Daniel Rich. He's been working with the Dolphins as a kicking specialist, the new team in the NRL. Radigalea called back into action. Through hands go the Cats. Classy through traffic, ended up with Atkins. Pops a kick over the top to Tui. Will he play on? No, he's just going to stop. And he'll look to drive them into attack, Rocky.
Does that surprise you at all that Daniel Rich is trying to make an extra buck out of the... Not at all.
Tui screws it left.
One of the tightest men you'll ever meet.
He hasn't had a haircut for a while. He doesn't like spending money on that either by the looks of it.
Again, on those Red Z lending stats there, 20 inside 50s to Geelong, 6 to Brisbane. Would that be concerning for Brisbane? Because Geelong don't have their forward line out there. If they go inside 50 20 times with Cameron, Hawkins, etc. in that forward half, there must be a few alarm bells for Brisbane at the moment to give up that many inside 50s in a quarter. Yeah, look, the weighted numbers will get you in the end. That's 80 for a game.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I guess it's just the way it's gone in this point in time. If you've got your big boppers up there, which they don't have, it might be a different story, but it's been ugly, it's been rushed, there's been no sort of cohesion between that midfield group and forwards at the moment, but it's a big number.
We're still inside the Cats forward 50. A few restarts out from the goal line, and now once more it is bobbling around as Gary Rowan fights for it. He's wrapped up by Ashcroft, and we'll have a ball up. 25 out from the Cats goal. 4-1-25 the Lions. Geelong just the 2 behinds. A 23-point lead on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Ollie Henry over the top. Kicked out by the Lions to Danaher. That was a dangerous goal side handball. Tried to centre it to Caneen Coleman. Might come off. Ashcroft up and running. Got it to Lockie Neal. Then he goes to Bailey. Bailey backwards through traffic. Beautiful kick into space for Devon Robinson. It'll bounce before he picks it up. Just held up in the grass for the West Australian. Handball over the top. Found Gunston in the pocket. Gets onto his left. It might just bounce through past Cameron. All the way for a goal. No, it was touched on the way through. Charlie Cameron is screaming at someone there.
It's just saying, pump it along. I had one-on-one, had an opportunity, and you messed around with the footy.
Typical forward, that ball was going to roll through and he get his hand to it and then he looks down the field and blames the midfielders.
4-2-26 the Lions, 2 behinds the Cats. Minute and change remaining in this opening term in Springfield.
Tom Rockcliffe, Simon Black, Brett Thomas, Liam Flanagan, Belinda Mellon, your call team for this one. As we edge closer to the season proper, and here come the Lions. Cam Rayner, a defender now. And he kicks for goal like a defender all of a sudden. He pushed that one wide. He would have kicked that last year when he was a forward.
Now, how many houses do you have out at Springfield? We know that the Lions used to get a few up at Noosa back in the day.
Sure, you're talking about
he hasn't wasted time making himself comfortable, has he?
As the Cats now through the middle. There was a throw on the way through, and Cam Rayner's just gone down. Was it Cam Rayner? No, free kick is against Ollie Henry, and was it Dunkley who just kind of slipped over.
50-metre penalty too.
So Dunkley was the tackler. Throw there from Henry. That was really... he
caught him in the crown jewels.
You know where's? Just a slap backwards. It's like Draymond Green on LeBron James.
Not much in
again,
it from mine.
No support.
He was facing forward. Not many NBA supporters here, obviously.
No.
You've had a couple of zingers that have gone straight through to the keeper.
Here's the pre-season. Here is Josh Dunkley, the former Dog. So 50 metres, as Rocky said, almost directly in front. He backed into traffic, took a courageous mark, kicked a goal against the Swans last week. What a great pickup he is for this side. His brother's playing in the VFL. They've brought him up north as well, but he's just missed that to the right-hand side. As the siren is about to sound, 4-4-28 the Lions. The Cats are 2 behinds. They've had the lion's share of the inside 50s, but haven't been able to convert. As Stewart, as soon as he brings this into play, the siren should sound. He kicks that into the pocket. And there it is, the siren 4-quarter time. So good start for the Lions. Slippery night here in Springfield. Again, that score, the Lions 4-4-28. The Cats are 2 behinds for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks footy.
Score a quick fire 40 with 40 chicken McNuggets and Cajun dipping sauce from Macca's.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
The 2023 AFL practice matches underway. Quarter time at Brighton Homes Arena. The Brisbane Lions with a 26-point lead over the reigning premiers, the Cats. 4-4-28. They lead Geelong just the 2 behinds. We'll give you an update of choice hotels around the grounds. Collingwood knocked off the Hawks by 6 points in their practice match. Currently, Fremantle lead Port Adelaide by 12. And as I said, here it is, the Lions by 26. Tom Rockcliffe, Simon Black, Liam Flanagan, Brett Thomas, Rocky, your old mob, Port, currently trailing Freo by 12. But your other old mob, the Lions, looking good in that first term against the reigning premiers.
Yeah, they certainly were. Brisbane were very sound in that first quarter, and we spoke about it briefly. We expect Brisbane to turn up tonight and win, just with the stars that are missing for Geelong. But the good thing for the Brisbane Lions, they've gone inside 59 times for 8 scores. So that's pretty impressive against a Geelong outfit. Geelong are very good at getting those front half turnovers and keeping it in their front half. As the stats outline as well on the Red Z there, they've had 20 inside 50s, Geelong, for only 2 behind. So unfortunately, they're just decimated with that front half. But as a Brisbane Lions person, a supporter, you'd be very happy with what you've seen in that first quarter, Blackie.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brisbane's scores have been derived on the back of their ball movement, their fast ball movement, and also changing angles and getting a good look inside 50. So their ability to, they obviously know Geelong's great strength. They know they've got to shift and move the ball fast, and they've done that well, and they've taken a few marks inside 50, and they have been a little bit composed going in too. So it's been good, some good signs. They obviously, as you said, have got half the number of entries as Geelong have, but they put some good pressure on the Geelong players when they're going forward as well. They don't have their big boppers up there, the Cats tonight, so it has been very clunky for Geelong going forward. But Brisbane, very impressive, and very impressive from a contest perspective as well. They're holding their own very well.
Only a practice match and at the training ground of the Brisbane Lions, Brighton Homes Arena. But for Bob Jane T-Marts, Belinda Mellon, it looks like there's a good, strong crowd out in attendance.
They say it is at capacity, and that leaves about 10,000 people. It's a bit hard to tell because it's not seated, but it's certainly full. And whoever is blasting that siren, can I tell you, they are doing it just for kicks.
Belinda Mellon for Bob Jane T-Marts. Bob Jane T-Marts have great buy 3, get 1 free plus instant cashback deals. Call or order online today. T's and C's do apply. Brett Thomas, you expect to see a bit of a lift from the Cats in this second term?
You think so. If they get that amount of inside 50s again, you'd think they'd start converting. But as we've said a few times, no Cameron, no Hawkins tonight, no Isaac Smith, the Norm Smith medal. It's just around the grounds. Australia 4 wickets away now from an innings victory against India in the third test. India 6-for-120, trailing by...
India lead at the moment, BT. I know it's a practice
Another
match.
zinger from you, BT.
Bye, brother.
Underway in the second term, though, BT.
Yes, we are. Here is Dangerfield now, coming through the middle, out to Bruin. Free kick advantage. The former Giants had a bit of the footy. Goes on the left, slides it up towards the left half forward flank, but a juggling mark taken by Jack Payne.
Is that Scotty West out there?
He just left. So did LeBron. The Cats go back into attack here, Flaners. Help us out.
Ollie Henry, he's going to send it long and deep, looking for a mark inside forward 50. G. Coleman did well to stand in front of Reece Stanley there. Robertson cleans up. Mongrel tumbler outside forward 50. What about the hands from Dunkley? Clean. Finds Lockie Neal wide. Goes backwards. Kicking board now. Contest forms. Ashcroft had to stand under it. Did well, the first-year player. Tom Stewart. Intercept mark, but he's turned the footy straight over to McCluggage, who's probably been the best player on the ground, and there's numbers outside him. Dan Rich will load up on that left shoe. Long, deep searching kick. Wants Gunston. Has Radagalia as a shadow. We'll have a boundary throw in left forward pocket for the Lions inside their forward 50.
Just for reference, we had the commentary box just compare little Ashcroft to Scotty West. That was the reference.
The haircut, and I got absolutely no support. And just again, India is leading Australia by 32 runs. Boundary throw in left forward pocket. Here is McCluggage straightening up, sending it toward the top of the goal square. Radagalia strong, couldn't quite take the mark. Stewart was there to mop up. Fast hands to Koning out towards Tui. Measures a high ball, pops it up for Buse. Invited McCarthy into the contest. Coming through Buse again, the tackler, and he wraps up Pryor, and just in the field of play will throw it up 50 out from the Lions goal. It is 4-4-28 the Lions, the Cats 2 behinds, Blackie and Rocky and Flaners.
For McDonald's and Ream Hotwater, Triple M Rocks footy. Brett Thomas might get dropped to the 2s after today.
We're on. Link McCarthy on the Red Z lending stats there, Blackie. He's been very quiet in that front half for Brisbane.
He has just had the one kick, one handball to this point.
Triple M Red Z lending stats as Segler, hands and knees, the big man for the Cats. Again, McCluggage gets it to Bailey, Rocky's man, feeds it back to Neal from outside 50, launches, sends it. Oh, captain, my co-captain, Lockie Neal nails his first for the evening. Number 5 for the Lions, and they extend their lead on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
We see this on Triple M Harvey on replay. We know Lockie Neal, what a star he is, and one of his great attributes that doesn't get spoken about a lot is that off 2 kicks, off 2 steps I should say, he's kicked it over 50 metres. He's a powerful kick. Couple of finals he's played, kicked some really important goals from outside 50. He's a very powerful, stocky young player, Rock, that can really, by foot, dice you up as well, and that's a great kick from 2 steps.
He's been a superstar for a number of years, and a lot of people used to say, oh, he gets a lot of junk in the back half. I think the one element of his game that he's added is that front half ability to kick goals now, and he's always been a superstar of the competition, and now he's going forward and kicking goals, and off 2 steps just went bang.
Dunkley, I should say, off his bootlaces. Holmes getting down low, tackled by Devon Robinson. Gets a pat on the back there from Lockie Neal, still in the centre square. 5 goal kickers now for the Lions. Neal joining Danaher, Gunston, Hipwood and Bailey. And here is McCluggage, who's given a couple off. He slides the handball out wide to Pryor on the left. Oh, did Radaglia give Gunston a nudge? Umpire said no, it was fair. Gunston just went to ground. Radaglia has looked good so far tonight as a key defender, fellas.
He has. He competed well in the air. He's been good at ground level a couple of times. He's set him up really nicely from back there. So he started very well.
Clean hands are going to be a factor, as it looks as though we're just starting to see a little bit of rain come down. We'll get down to B for a conditions update shortly, as this man, Lockie Neal, has picked up where he left off in season 2022. So too is this man, McCluggage, with a bullet. Finds Jack Gunston, who said in the lead up to this season he was hoping to go under the radar in the Lions forward 50, and at the moment he seems to be the main man, the main target for the midfielders running forward.
Well, he's been such a clever player. I mean, him and Luke Bruce in that forward line for the Hawks for the last dozen years have been magnificent, and as he sprays that one across the face, it goes in for a point. But his ability to be able to find space and get into holes that other players don't find is over the journey has been as good as anyone. He's obviously quality acquisition for the Lions.
Let's just go down to Belinda Mellon for a conditions update. Bob Jane T-Marts, B.
It's just spinning lightly down here. There are showers forecast, but they're not supposed to come until midnight, so hopefully it doesn't get too heavy, boys.
Thank you, B. Here come the Lions again. Robinson over the top. Tunstall, awkward-looking ball on his left to the left forward pocket. Stewart fists that from behind over the boundary line and out of bounds. Bob Jane T-Marts, by the way, have great buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cashback deals. Call or order online today. T's and C's apply, Rocky.
I mean, if the rain on the forecast is not supposed to come to midnight, it's about to start raining at 8 o'clock, isn't it? How bad are the forecasts been for the last couple of years, particularly in southeast Queensland?
Boundary throw in as Tui just pushed his opponent off the footy, turned around, kicked it out of defence. It's flirting with the boundary line though. Good work there from Caneen Coleman just to nudge Stengel under the footy. Will throw it back in, Rocky. We
quickly spoke about it at the break, but the Brisbane Lions' ability, ball movement wise, to play that fast corridor attacking style, that's a new element to their game this summer. I think the way they've played in the past has been that kick mark game. Now they're taking on the corridor. This is a new element offensively from the Brisbane Lions, and it's really exciting. Now their game's complete.
Triple M Seabus Super special comments coming from former Lions skipper Tom Rockcliffe there. Seabus Super making hard work pay off as the Cats roll forward. Close. Chips it up ahead. Oh, unfortunately, Reece Stanley turned his back. Harris Andrews didn't. Intercept mark for the Lions co-skipper. Comes corridor. Finds Dunkley. The big off-season recruit. Not too often a 26-year-old in the prime of his career, just coming off a best and fairest, lands in your lap when you're a premiership contender, Blackie.
Absolutely. And his size and his defensive element of his game as a midfielder for this Lions side is that word again, invaluable. He's going to be a massive acquisition for Brisbane, and he could have been a captain of the club as well. He's that highly sought after as a quality person and leader as well.
The Lions is chaining together uncontested kicks and marks. Now they're up to right half forward. Tunstall has the footy. Cats have just slowed them down a little bit. Lions by 33 points. Sends a high ball. Shallow entry. Oh, the big ride from behind from Charlie Cameron, getting up over the back of the pack and takes a screamer about 30 out from goal.
You played with some big characters in Brisbane. I'm told that Charlie Cameron is as big as Jonathan Brown. He walks down into a nightclub in the Fortitude Valley, Blackie. He's massive.
I think just ask him, he'll tell you. But yes, he is very popular, Charlie, up here with his song that blast after he kicks a goal.
He took a good mark. Can he finish off with the goal? No, he just misses to the left. 54 goals he kicked last year, 6 in the Coleman. We'll take a look at the Harvey Norman replay. Talk us through this, fellas.
Oh, he's got such a leap. I mean, he's on top of Hipwood and DeGoing's shoulders there. A lot smaller man. Great leap, great mark. Chest mark in the end.
Just watching that Harvey Norman replay, it actually reminded me a little bit of myself, Blackie.
Triple M Harvey Norman replay. Kick off the new season at Harvey Norman. Why did that get a laugh, but Scott West doesn't?
He's talking about when he's the Oz Kick Clinic. He jumped
when he went to the Oz Kick clinics when he was playing.
Yeah.
Jump over the kids.
BT, I think it's one of us has got humour and one of us doesn't.
One of us was a former captain of the club.
Cat sending it inside forward 50. Myers just sat it on the head of Ollie Henry, who he's been asked to take on that tall forward responsibility.
Unfortunately for Geelong tonight, they just haven't adapted to not having those powerful key forwards tonight. They're still playing their game style that won them the premiership last year, and it's been so prevalent in the way they play for a number of years. Bombing, just expecting those key forwards, Cameron, Hawkins, just to be there. Unfortunately tonight, they're not there.
So what would Brad Scott be hoping for, or Chris Scott rather? It's about a BT.
Essendon playing.
What would Chris Scott be hoping for, given that, would he still want them to be playing that same system, Blackie?
Well, you've got to lower your eyes. You know, if you've got a tall target in there, you've got to lower your eyes, and you've got to almost just try and find a short. And there's times where you've got to just blaze away and bomb it in there, but you just got to bring it to the ground, get numbers to the fall of the ball. But yeah, ideally, you want to be able to get some marks inside 50 by lowering your eyes.
So they've plucked out a free kick, and Gary Rowan will have a shot on goal. Still yet to kick a goal, and we're midway through this second term. Didn't play against the Hawks last week. He's measuring up the big sticks, Gary Rowan. Just outside the 50, he skips in, on its way, drifting from left to right. That looks good, looks really good. Straight through the middle from Gary Rowan, and the Geelong finally get their first goal of the night. On the Triple M prime time for Jim Beam's scoreboard, it is 5-6-36 the Lions. The Cats are 1-2-8.
Yeah, Harvey Norman replay there. Daniel Rich just stood in front of Gary Rowan. Well, he didn't actually. Gary Rowan ran into him, but he put his hand up to take the ruck. And what a stupid rule that is, Blackie. I mean, to nominate for the ruckman, you used to love the third man up, a guy that you used to play with, Jamie Charman. He was all arms and legs and just went everywhere. It's not a rule that's fair in this particular scenario, that you've got to nominate and then a small defender stands in front of who his direct opponent is for 99% of the game and gives away a free kick.
Yeah, and the great thing about the third in was that it allowed the ball to get on the outside, out of the congested area as well. So Geelong haven't had a mark inside forward 50 so far. Brisbane have had 6. So, yeah, that ability to be able to back on their ball movement in front is lower their eyes as they go inside forward 50. Find a little hit up is going to be important for them.
Ball back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rocks footy. Ream Hot Water is built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream. The Lion just waltz off half-back. Kadeem Coleman makes football look real easy, although his kick just had a little too much air in it. He's made up for it, though. Ran through hard, supported Dev Robertson. He overcooked the hand pass. Lions opportunity to win it back here. Henry, chipping kick, has a man on inside forward 50. Sam Simpson.
That's that first mark. Yep, just lowered their eyes. Saw a little playing. Good fast ball movement too, I must say. Came back through corridor, didn't they? Had a little option on and used it. He'll get a look from probably about 50 metres out. Yeah,
45 directly in front. Rare to see a short man like Sam Simpson with the socks pulled up.
There's not many of them left now. I think Nathan Buckley, Jason Horne-Francis, I'm led to believe, does the same thing.
All the way up to the knees for Sam Simpson.
He needs to take him down after that.
He needs to take him off after that. He's put that out of bounds on the full by a very long way. Free kick Lions.
Talk about Amy Clangers.
Strong contender.
Let's come off his thigh, I think.
Thank you, Sam, son of Sean, former Cat and Saint. And Lions coming out of defence. That ball will have to come all the way back to McKenna step over the line.
Yeah, Harvey Norman replay just played on out of bounds, so it'll come back to nearly next to the point post for Geelong here. And again, they don't have Hawkins there to take the ruck, so this will be interesting. They got a free kick. I think Gary Rowan's going to go up against Oscar McInerney.
McInerney takes the front position. Now Rowan scoots in front, almost took a clean out of the ruck near the goal square. Wilmot just tries to clear the danger with a high ball. Danaher's come up, but the man in front has taken a nice mark, as we heard there from Simon Black, and I believe that will be Guthrie. It is. He'll reload. Dempsey, the short lead, is ignored. He's going to send it out sideways, try and suck the Lions defence back out. Finds his brother, Cam Guthrie, near the point of the square. Stanley telling him to go out wide to the right, and that's where he goes, and it's kick to kick between the Guthries.
This is where you know how well teams are drilled, I reckon, when they're just about 60 metres from goal, Blackie. The defence has been set up from a back stoppage, and they've got all numbers back. If you can weave your way through this, find a passage, find a mark inside 50, you know that the whole team's on the same wavelength.
Sure does, and it just creates a bit of selflessness, doesn't it? Be able to get into space, get out of space.
Tough kick for Zach Guthrie. Right half forward flank, it's drifting back, but not quite enough, and through for A behind. So the Cats are peppering away, 1-3-9. Lions, though, still with a healthy lead. 5-6-36, 11 minutes to go in this opening half.
It's a good point you raise, Rock. It's around how good a team player you are, really. It's a good sign of that, isn't it? Really be able to create a hole by not being used, getting out of that area to create a hole for someone, leaving the lane for someone else, and Geelong do it really well.
It just goes to show how well the team is in sync and how selfless they are, because if you have 15 blokes or 12 blokes inside 50 that are leading for themselves, selfish team, where Geelong were able to manoeuvre and find a player inside 50 by himself, take a mark, so there was clearly blocks and stuff put on, but their systems, Geelong have been so strong for a number of years, very unselfish. As we see the Brisbane Lions win a free kick here and a 50-metre penalty.
Yeah, Jackson Pryor did the hard work, won the footy, free kick from Stanley for over the shoulder, and then the footy went back to the wrong line. So Jackson Pryor will be walked all the way up to 80 metres from goal. He finds Joe Danaher, who's marked 70 out, and you'd almost back him to go back and have a swing. And we've had, by the looks of it, Sam Simpson, who just put it out of bounds on the full moments ago from a set shot, has run through the protected zone, tried to man the mark. Joe Danaher gets 50, and this should be in the book for Big Joe.
It's Harvey Norman replay. I don't think he did much wrong there. He pointed to a position, the umpire didn't pull him up and allowed him to step over that mark. So it's turned into a certain goal from Danaher. He probably would have had a shot from 70 anyway, may have kicked it, but I'm not too sure about that on the Harvey Norman replay, that was actually a 50-metre penalty.
Joe Danaher's going to thump this one out of the arena. He's put it into the next suburb. How important is he going to be this year, Rocky? I mean, he's been told by Danny Daly that he needs to work harder, and we know he had the shoulder issues, but he really does hold the key to the Lions' premiership chances, doesn't he?
He certainly does. He lives in northern New South Wales now. I think he's really well settled on property out there. He's a father. We seen last year a lot of controversy around that, fair or unfair, but he certainly does hold a lot to the success of how this forward line operates. He doesn't have to be the go-to man every time, but by taking the best defender, he frees someone else up. And we talk about the Brisbane Lions, how well they're structured. Their forward half of the ground is so potent.
He needs to kick 50 goals plus. He's that important. For Brisbane to win it, he needs to kick 50 goals plus. You need your best players playing well. He's a marquee player for Brisbane, that forward line. That's the impact they need from him.
Kicked 39-24 from 19 games last year. Back in the middle, up to the Cats attacking end. Dempsey just got the handball away into the path of Stanley. His handball was chopped off by Bailey, though. Along the ground it goes to Rich. Tried to trap the footy. Did well, slipped up, and he was... Oh, no. In fact, he gave away the free kick. Simpson will take the advantage into the path of Rowan. Just tried to pick it up on the half volley, but a little bit too hot. He got the handball, though, from close. Turns as the goal square open. He's got a teammate going back. Dempsey just took the juggling mark, and Ollie Dempsey will line up right near the goal line on an angle.
A Harvey Norman replay, I'm still not convinced that was a 50-metre penalty before for Joe Danaher. I think he stopped. I think that was really poor umpiring, but we won't go there, Blackie, because we know when you abuse umpires what happens, as we said. Eddie had one day with you, but
So Ollie Dempsey, a rookie elevation, 2 games and 1 goal last year. He's on the board, and the Cats get their second. 2-3-15, 6-6-42 on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Supporting tradies, over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, and a huge range of accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
Just a nice ball movement. Just another re-entry from the Cats. Went in, went out, and they came back in, and Gary Ryan just put it in a really nice spot there for his teammate and Dempsey to run onto. Well-needed goal. Just kicked their second for the night. Still 4 goals behind, but the Cats in the last 5 minutes, a little bit more momentum, a fair bit more time in their forward half, and starting to get a little bit of synergy together as a group.
In a minute, Blackie, I want to get your thoughts on the Brisbane Lions forward half of the ground compared to when you played, and just compare them to see how team defence would be walking back there when we get a break in play.
Ball back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rocks footy. Hipwood into the ruck. Bit of a chop out here for Oscar McInerney as Dangerfield and Hipwood just go at it in back play. We'll keep an eye on that. Darcy Wilmot a young man who made his debut in the finals, provided something of a spark from defence for the Lions. Ball dribbles down. Joe, was he pushed in the back? Umpire said he was. Now, the free kick's been paid just outside the 50. If Joe flushes this could be another sharing into the next suburb. No, he lowers the eyes instead. The lead came out strong. Gunston took a few with him. Bailey, Rocky's man, was clean. Lockie Neal in trouble. Not even he can get through three of them. Should be holding the ball. Free kick will be Tanner Broome to take it.
First time I've ever seen Lockie Neal get caught for holding the ball.
It's a strong player as Tanner Broome, but he had some help there from a teammate. Sends it out wide with a short pass. Now they work it outside their defensive 50 to Myers. Robertson rushing up on the mark. Not a lot of uncontested options, but he's a bullet pass there into the path of Cam Guthrie. So they're out of defence. Now he's going to straighten up, go through the middle, risky kick Simpson with traffic bearing down on him. The Lions now with numbers. Dunkley out wide into space. Danaher just lumbering after the footy. Handballs are back to Starcevic. Sinks the ball long up the line. And the player's gotten free. That player is McCluggage. Can turn, look up. Who's the target he's going to go to? He screws a pass in. Bewes just got a hand to it. Bailey coming across, but the Cats have numbers through O'Connor. Simpson off to Cam Guthrie. He's having a bit of the footy in this second quarter. High ball into the middle. Dunkley was he taken down by Atkins. Great courage there from Josh Dunkley. Earns himself a free kick and can send the Lions into attack, Bucky.
And that's what you're going to get from Josh Dunkley. He'll put his body on the line. He won't think about it. Great example there. Cop one across the face and beautifully done. A couple of red Z-Lendy stats here for the Lions. McCluggage leading the way with 14. Dunkley 11. Lockie Neal 10. For the Cats, Guthrie has 15. Stewart 11. And Bruin has 11 too.
Dunkley's just going to drop it to the top of the square as Danaher is shoved hard from behind. Link McCarthy has taken the advantage and he's missed. I don't know if Joe's going to be happy about that.
There is nothing worse when someone takes the advantage and they miss it.
You've been guilty of that a few times, Rocky?
Never. I wasn't a goal kicker. I used to give it back. I'd prefer to put pressure on someone else.
Minor score, Lions lead it by 28 points.
The Cats come out of defence again. Myers come out, takes the chest mark in front of Rayner.
We speak about selfish and unselfish. You got a set shot 15 metres out in front and he snaps it around the corner with a dribbler. It's only a little thing, but they all amount to something as the game goes on. And it's only a little thing. It's a pre-season game. I'm sure if it was a game in season, Link McCarthy wouldn't do that. But it's just they compound and become an issue if they creep into the game.
Oh, Rowan rising high. Couldn't quite take the mark. McKenna, hot potato, got it to Ripstead. Have it back. Now they're up to the wing. Bailey is free.
Space.
Angle ball into Tunstall. Oh, his handball had a little bit too much on it, looking for McCluggage. Picked off by Stewart. Steaming forward the other way, but his handball was picked up by Neal. And got Neal high. The co-captain of the Lions sends it out wide, and they've got free numbers here. Danaher.
Big Joe says, get out of the way, and goes thump. He just kicked that 70 metres, fell in the lap of Gunston, snap over the shoulder, minor score. 6-8-44 for the Lions. Geelong 2-3-15 with 6.5 to play, second turn.
I know that handball missed in the corridor, but I love the intent from the Brisbane Lions there. They want to take the game on, and it adds that element to their game. We speak about their front half before. We say how important Danaher is to that mix. Danaher, Dunkley, McCluggage, Ashcroft, McCarthy, Gunston, Cameron, Hipwood, Bailey, Zorko, Berry.
It's an elite forward line. Here's Stengel over the top. Beautifully weighted handball to close. Turnaround. Sorry, he had Harris Andrews, so kept running. Cam Guthrie got around Neal. Straightens up. Good ball movement there from the Cats. Simpson thought about playing on. He saw Myers or Holmes, I think it was, out of the corner of his eye. Says, settle it down. Have another shot for goal.
Cats doing a great job in this quarter. Just been able to shift the ball a little bit differently. Not blazing away and lowering their eyes on the result. They're getting some marks inside 50, some better looks. So opportunity here to have a shot for their third goal. And looking far superior.
Wants to handball it off to the long boot of Tui. Zach Tui, that's going to miss to the right. In fact, won't make the distance. Dempsey tried to rise up on Harris Andrews, kept his feet. Handball over the top to Jack Payne. Just ran away from Stengel. Now they're out of danger, and he's found Eric Hipwood on a long lead.
Make a great point, Rock. There's some real depth in this Brisbane side now. Their forward line, as you mentioned, this tonight's an important game for a lot of players to show their wares, to impress for round one, being their last game before round one. So some real depth in this line. Probably as much depth as I've seen since the early 2000s in the team now.
Well, any time that you have to swing a guy like Cam Rayner, number one pick, to the back line because you've got too much talent in your front half, It sums up how well you go,
doesn't it?
You got the likes of Jackson Pryor and Dev Robertson and Jimmy Tunstall out there trying to impress and trying to get an opportunity in this best 22. It's going to be hard to come by in season 2023 if everyone stays fit. Kadeem Coleman, handball corridor. Rayner, here's Robertson. Finds his co-captain, Lockie Neal.
He's everywhere.
Always has time. Always runs both ways. Lovely kick ahead by Dev Robertson. No, just showed too much of it to close. O'Connor closed in, took the mark. He'll go wide.
Just needs to relax a little bit, Dev Robinson. He's made a few mistakes so far in this game. Looks like he's playing for a position in the team and thinking about that too much. He's making a few blunders.
Zach Guthrie sends it up towards left half forward, but Harris Andrews rising high takes a nice intercept mark.
The humidity out here is incredible. Sweating like a pig in the commentary box at the moment, but looking down there at the players, their jumpers are all just wet. Harris Andrews took that intercept mark, just drenched.
Starcevic straightens up to Ashcroft. Not the only game on today. The Pies beat the Hawks by a goal. Dockers over the Power by 22. 5 to play in the last quarter at Freo Oval. Here is Ashcroft with the high ball up towards the wing. Charging out was Danaher. Tunnelled underneath it by Radaglia. Parfitt goes back to Zach Guthrie. Screws that ball around the corner. The whistle is blown. Someone's been held. It is a Brisbane Lions player, and it is Harris Andrews.
Blackie, I know there's been nothing but rave reviews about young Will Ashcroft as the Lions pick their way through the middle. Accelerates away. Connor McKenna, the former Bomber, back into the league, retired for 2 years, went back to Ireland, won the All-Ireland with his county. Now he's back on the AFL, ready to win a premiership as Jimmy Tunstall with the spin move. Gives it to Charlie C.
Clever.
What about the vision to find Big Joe, 35 out directly in front. Danaher will go back to have a set shot at goal. Will Ashcroft, nothing but rave reviews. He's impressed so far in the hit-outs, but he is a young man, first-year player. Do you see him as a lock in this best 22?
Yep. I think he'll be in the 22. Yep, I do. I think he's a chance of playing every game this year. They'll probably rest him throughout, but based on what I've seen and then wanting to inject him into the senior side, I think he'll certainly play early. Okay.
Danaher now on the runway. Distance not an issue for this man. It's a pitching wedge from there, but he's missed it to the left-hand side. Minor score. Just edging ahead by ones at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. 6-9-45, a 30-point lead over the Cats. 2-3-15, Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
It's a great conversation, Liam, there about who makes space, because you'd imagine Danes Orko comes back in that team. He's out tonight with injury. Jared Berry probably comes in as well. It's going to be really the next 2 weeks. We're not living it day to day out there in the training environment. Who makes way for these players to come back in?
Darcy Gardner as well.
It is a great problem to have.
It is a great problem to have, and it's a big decision the coaching staff got to make, isn't it?
Boundary throw in. Segler got his right hand to it. Bruin was initially held by McCluggage, took him to ground, no free kick. McInerney, low, tumbling, dangerous ball right to the breadbasket there of Kolajasny. Just got the handball free. McCluggage, did he get Parfitt high? No, wrapped him up beautifully, said the umpire. Left forward pocket, Lions attacking in Rocky.
BT, you see what happens when you make great points? Everyone in the box agrees with you.
Okay, wonderful. I'll learn. We're all learning here. Here is Segler. Plucks that out of the ruck. High ball didn't really go too far forward. Kaneem Coleman juggling, went to ground. Ashcroft involved. Off the boot there goes McCarthy. Boundary throw-in, and we'll throw it in again. Great to have you on the team, Rocky.
30-point margin.
They're telling to rack off back to Adelaide.
No. Triple M Seabus Super special comments. Seabus Super making hard work pay off. Tom Rockcliffe, Simon Black, plenty of years of experience at the helm of this Brisbane outfit. And the Cats, don't forget, with a new captain out there for the first time, Joel Selwood. He walked out to so many coin tosses for the Cats, and now it is P. Dangerfield who'll lead this club on their premiership defence. Haven't seen a heap of him tonight as Rayner dances through the traffic, then finds Coleman. He shows his own clean pair of heels. Handball inside forward 50. Just bit off a bit more than he could chew there. Give Coleman another turnover. Big Oscar standing in the way. Parfitt went by foot. Oscar went by fist. Cats have numbers. Holmes wins out. Finds Parfitt. Releases Henry. Out of side. Bridgestone Home Arena. Henry's caught. Tunstall with the second effort. Fags will like to see that for a young man fighting for a spot from Jimmy Tunstall. Here's Lockie Neal. He doesn't need to fight for his spot, but he is. Parfitt now with the football. Out of side for the Geelong. Centre wing lowers the eyes. footy in the hands of Myers.
Just to back up your point on the Red Z lending stats there, Dangerfield 2 kicks, 6 handballs tonight, so he's been unsighted. And the other thing I've noticed out there is Chris Fagan's actually coaching from the coach's box tonight, which is very rare. It's nearly the first time I've ever seen that happen, I think, for the Brisbane Lions.
Bailey, centre half back through traffic. Bruin trying to chase him down. His defensive efforts have been good. They come out to Danaher, just taken out of it by Guthrie, and earns himself a free kick. He's kicked 2 goals, Danaher. Gunston's kicked 1-3.
Presenting well, isn't he?
29 points, or 30 points, I should say, is the Lions' lead as Danaher kicks it long up towards the wing. Looking for but not finding Gunston off the hand there of Tom Stewart out of bounds, Rocky.
You've been in the coach's box before, Blackie. Ground level up in that elevated position. Much of a difference?
It's certainly obvious. It's an easy game from the coach's box, an elevated view, that's for sure. But I do like personally the way coaches have gone down to ground level these days and have that impact with the players face to face.
I wonder if we'll see that from Chris Fagan this year, because we've come to know him just being on the boundary line, and there has been question marks over the tactics late in games and particularly around Brisbane late in seasons. Whether that is a shift that we'll see him more in the coach's box moving forward.
Certainly one to keep an eye out for when the season gets underway proper, as Starcevic kicks a banana inboard. Ashcroft, a mistake, dropped the footy, but McCluggage and Neal there to mop up. Pryor lows the eyes. Hipwood has let up. He's sort of been third banana tonight. Danaher and Gunston taking most of the shine. Hipwood inside forward 50. Charlie did the body work early on Buse. Pryor kept his run going. Siren's going to beat Ashcroft, who snaps around the body. The score won't count. The siren has sounded. Half-time is here. Bridgestone Home Arena. An interesting practice match here. The Brisbane Lions 6-9-45 with a 30-point lead over the Geelong Cats, the reigning premiers, 2-3-15. Tom Rockcliffe, Simon Black, Brett Thomas, Belinda Mellon and Liam Flanagan here, your call team for this one. We'll take a break, and on the other side we will break down that first half of action for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
For Ream Hot Water,
Triple M rocks footy.
built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream.
Triple M rocks footy.
This halftime break for Mitre 10 Trade for expert advice and a job done right first time.
Half-time Lions by 30 points. They led by 26 at quarter time. They've shared the goals around. Joe Danaher, the only multiple goal kicker, with 2-1. Gunston, Neal, Hipwood, Bailey have all kicked one. And for the Cats, they were goalless in the first term. In the second, it was Gary Rowan from a free kick. Ollie Dempsey, the rookie elevation, kicked a goal for the Cats as well. So 6-9-45, plays 2-3-15. Brett Thomas, Liam Flanagan, Simon Black, Tom Rockcliffe and Belinda Mellon on the boundary. The halftime break for Mitre 10 Trade. Mitre 10 Trade for expert advice and a job done right first time. Fellas, your thoughts on that first half of footy?
Yeah, good contest. Brisbane very impressive on the large part. In that second quarter there, the inside 50s was 16-10 in Brisbane's favour. In the first quarter, it was 20-9 in Geelong's favour. So Brisbane managed to win that inside 50 battle. But what I would say is Geelong realised after quarter time that they have to start moving the ball and shifting the ball a bit differently going forward. And they did that in that second time a bit better. It's a very slippery, dewy night. You can tell that the way that the guys are fumbling out there. But Brisbane's intent is to move the ball faster in the middle of the ground, keep that ball, keep some speed on the ball, and they've done that really well. Obviously, they've got the 30-point lead here at half-time. You know, the good players are playing well for Brisbane at the moment. Through the middle of the ground, Lachie Neal, McCluggage is everywhere. Josh Dunkley has had a dozen touches. McCluggage 16, Neal 14, so they've done an exceptional job. It's been a really good contest. It's been some good signs up forward from Danaher. Kicked a couple of goals. Rocky's presented really well. Geelong, you see, you sense you did say they think like they're in holiday mood. Been a few days on Broadbeach down the Gold Coast, but they looked a lot better in that second quarter anyway, didn't they?
They certainly did, and the numbers suggest that they should be a lot closer in this game. They're inside 50. They're still winning that count. The clearance count, they're still winning. So it feels like they should be up and about. But to Brisbane's credit, they've played some really good footy tonight. And every time they've gone forward, and they've added that element, I think, with the corridor, the handball receive, run and gun, which they've probably lacked a little bit in previous years. So they've certainly gone away, worked on a weakness or something they've identified in that to work on. And and they're getting the rewards for it tonight. As you said, McCluggage was everywhere at the start of the game. He's sort of setting up really well. Harris Andrews is back to his best. We've seen him struggle the last year or two with some injuries and just not being able to be at his absolute best. But some really positive signs from the Brisbane Lions. I don't think Geelong would be too worried. We spoke about what's missing for them. Their front half is pretty much out. But, all in all, Brisbane would be really happy with how they've gone about it tonight.
And their new recruits, we'll start with the Lions. Dunkley, Ashcroft, Gunston, McKenna all had their moments. Who stood out from that group?
Dunkley for mine. Dunkley and Jack Gunston has been fantastic up forward. You just see, I've admired him for a long time. His craft. He's not a massive man, but his ability to find space and come at the kicker at the right time and get into leading lanes and get an uncontested mark has been as good as anyone in the competition for the last decade, in my opinion. And he's a massive acquisition for the footy club. He's at the peak of his powers. Still, I think he's 28 years of age. So he's been really important. Josh Dunkley looks like he's fitted in like a glove so far.
What does he add to the midfield that they didn't have before?
Well, yeah, good question. He's a bit bigger body. He's got that ruthless defensive edge, real ruthless defensive edge. And it's one thing I know last year they wanted to put Cam Rayner in a little bit for a big body. Cam Rayner is a competitor. It's a great thing. One of the reasons he went number one because he's a great competitor. And for now to be able to play him down back, to be a good backman, you've got to be a ruthless competitor, and he's got that attribute about him, and that's going to be a really big important thing, I think, for Brisbane's back six. I think for Brisbane to go to the next level from a really good side to a great premiership team, they're going to be more ruthless defensively, and they're going to need a guy like Cam Rayner to go back there, I feel, and really buy into the defensive part of the game. Cam Rayner is a part of this puzzle for Brisbane. If he can buy into this back six really well, which I believe he will, he can be invaluable for this whole group, this whole club going forward. But, yeah.
And the Cats, Rocky, Tanner Bruin, strong-looking player. Ollie Henry, there's no Jack Bowes tonight, but, some of their new guys have got involved.
I was about to say Bowes has been very quiet tonight, clearly because he's not out there. No, they've been solid, Geelong. It's really hard to get a gauge on them for mine. I think that they've showed enough signs that their system stacks up. Unfortunately, they just don't have that forward half to attack it, but there's no worrying signs around the new guys that have been entered in there, Braun, Henry, etc. So I think they're good enough. Again, they're going to be out there. Geelong. Unfortunately for everyone else in the competition, they're so good. But there's no warning signs or alarm bells for them. Unfortunately, as we've spoken about, they've been up in Broadbeach for a couple of days. They're going to hang around for a few more. So it just feels like they're a little bit in holiday mode. I don't think there's any concerns moving forward for them, though.
Blackie, biggest challenge to going back to back? You know exactly what's required, and this Cats side is now dealing with this. They lose their inspirational skipper Joel Selwood. What he's done for the game and for that club doesn't need to be discussed and broken down. But Patrick Dangerfield, an established leader, a star of the game. What are the biggest challenges this side faces in defending a premiership?
Well, I think, luck with injury, you need obviously clearly luck with injury. They've added to their list, as Rocky mentioned earlier, some great acquisitions to the club. I think in some ways you could argue that they may well be better placed than they've been. They've got some great leaders already. They've lost one of the best of the history of the game, but they are really well positioned again to give it a good nudge. No doubt Chris Scott, last year they've been called too old. And no doubt Scotty will be going down that path again. No one will rate us. They think we're too old. I thought we were too old last year. And he'll hang on to that, got no doubt, knowing Scotty. But they're such a professional, well-oiled machine. And I ran into Nigel Lappin over a few weeks ago, and Nigel spoke about last year, and they hit the finals high energy. And if you start the season well, back end of the year, you get an opportunity to rest some of your players, and they had the luxury last year. So if you can start the season well, you can get the high wins on the board early. Back end of the year, you can hit the finals with a little bit of freshness because you can rest some of your players a little bit. And you saw Richmond do that over a few years, and Geelong had the luxury last year as well. So yeah, that goes a long way.
How much can Chris Scott lean into blokes like Brandon Parfitt and Max Holmes? Obviously, Max Holmes, the one that was out injured and missed the grand final, would have been in there. But how much can he lean into players like that who weren't on the field in the premiership last year this season? How much as some motivation?
Well, the players up from underneath driving up can often be the ones that really, you don't want to lose your spot on the side. And that drives standards, that drives behaviours. And they know what it's about. And I know Chris is a coach who led to believe that over the summer months, they don't do massive days and hours at the club. He gets them in, gets them out, tries to keep them fresh. He does that really well. And but back to your point, Flanners, I think if you can get those players on the fringe who've just missed out on the greatest feeling in the game, they'll be super desperate, and other ones that'll be pushing the others around them, and creates a great environment and a great climate to be a part of.
All right, before we go to the break, Choice Hotels around the grounds. 3 games on today. Earlier in Launceston, it was the Pies over the Hawks. Another close one for Collingwood by a goal. Live game at Freo Oval. Dockers over the Power by 14. Here in Springfield at Brighton Homes Arena, it is the home team, the Lions, up against the Cats by 30 points. Whatever your reason for travelling, you'll get the lowest price guaranteed when you book direct at choicehotels.com. So go ahead and book it. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy.
That halftime break for Mitre 10 Trade for expert advice and a job done right first time.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's.
Triple M rocks footy.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
A real suburban footy type feel here at Springfield. Good turn up. They're watching the Lions in front of the Cats at halftime by 30 points. Who covers clangers on and off the field? Amy does. Clanger from the opening half. I'm scared to ask about this. Has to be Simpson's spray for goal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
You're
Great.
probably lucky there, BT.
We've all jumped on again.
Wonderful. And just some concern out of the Magpies win over the Hawks too. Pat Lipinski dislocating his shoulder, so you'd have to say he's in fair doubt for round 1. I'm scared to give the cricket score or the NRL their Choice Hotels around the grounds funner, so I might let you handle that.
India
India's in front.
India have a 56-run lead in their second dig. They're currently 7 for 144. The GOAT, Nathan Lyon, is ripping through the Indian lineup. So Australia will have to bat again to win this one. But the way these pitches are working out, 56 runs might seem like not many, but on this deck, that's a tricky ask. In the NRL, the season opener, Parramatta taking on the Storm at home. 12-all with a little over 13 minutes to play in that one.
That was the halftime break for Mitre 10 Trade. Mitre 10 Trade for expert advice and a job done right first time. Brett Thomas, Liam Flanagan, Simon Black and Tom Rockcliffe. Rocky, so you've already detected that the Lions are playing a fair bit differently to what they have in past years in terms of the way they move the footy.
Yeah, they certainly are. They've just added another element to their offence, which we know that you've got to be able to play different ways. And we've seen it a little bit with Geelong's offence tonight without their key forwards down there. They weren't able to adapt in that first quarter. They were a bit better in that second quarter, lowering their eyes. But for the Brisbane Lions tonight, they seem to want to take on that corridor a little bit more, initiate the handball receive to the guy running forward, shoulders out, enter the forward 50 one-on-one. So I think there's a new element to that offence, which is fantastic, because last year, kick mark, kick to handball ratio, number 2 in the competition. They'd love to get that down a little bit, I think, but increase their handball receives. And we spoke about their weapons. Daniel Reach off halfback, Cam Rayner's gone to halfback. They have those weapons on the outside, Hugh McCluggage. If you can involve those guys with handball receives, realistically, we expect Brisbane Lions to be in the grand final this year. I think everyone sitting in this commentary box would be in agreement there. They've plugged the holes that they had issues with. Dunkley's going to add an element of toughness. If they stay injury-free, they're going to be right there.
A player we hadn't... Well, obviously there's Dane Zorko, had a hamstring setback, so he's pushing to return for round 1. Chris Fagan said he's not too concerned if he has no match practice until then. Jared Lyons is another one as well. Where, do you see him fitting back into this best 22, Simon Black?
Yeah, that's right. It's the guys like that who need to be at the peak of their powers for the ability now to probably get a game based on the inclusions they've got now. So, yeah, it's some really interesting discussions at the coaching selection table, no doubt about that. But the thing for a guy like Jared Berry is that he gives you options. He can be your run-with player. You can put him in the wing. You put him inside. He's got several attributes. So he is one I would have thought to be specific that would play in this team. But it is, you look at it now and you think, who are the outs from... there's 26 playing tonight, but it's some seriously great challenges for the coaches to select their best 22.
Blackie, how long would that match committee be? 6 hours, 7 hours? Going in and around.
Well, it took them a while to appoint captains, and then they just threw 11 in the leadership group.
Yeah. So it's got to be a world record, 11, doesn't it?
We are at half-time here, getting ready for the third quarter to get underway, thanks to Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores nationwide, expert trade teams and exclusive trade services. Beacon Trade, let's make light work. The ball is in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. Triple M Rocks footy underway now as Big Oscar McInerney goes thump, sends it forward for the Lions. Here's Ashcroft, clean hands. Dunkley, a couple of new Lions getting them forward in the third term. Free kick's been picked out. Link McCarthy drew the free kick on Tom Stewart, protected the drop zone, and he'll have a chance to kick the first of the third term, 30 metres out directly in front.
Love seeing a ruckman just get up and bash it forward. A big Clark Keating style there from Big Oscar McInerney, and got the ball, momentum going forward inside here towards your forward 50, and it's resulted in an opportunity here for Link McCarthy.
Speak about the players that they've added to that team, Brisbane Lions, Ashcroft, and who else was in that centre bounce then?
Dunkley.
Dunkley was as well, yeah.
Yeah, the new faces shining. Link McCarthy, he's a little bit of that. I mean, in a forward line with Charlie Cameron and Zach Bailey, Link McCarthy is a little bit of that X factor as well. He doesn't get a lot of the footy, but when he does, it's often high quality, and that ability to jump on heads like he has. You'd think he'd be a lock in that forward six this season.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is for mine for sure. And his challenge, I feel, for some of the lines, Charlie Cameron a little bit the same, of when to fly and when to stay at ground level. There's times when he'll try and fly when he should probably be at ground level because of the taller guys around him. And it's a balance he sort of needs to get a bit right. But he's such a clean player below his knees, creative player, skillful player, very valuable.
Well, your former teammate Jonathan Brown during last year gave their forwards for getting a bit of a whack for being too goal hungry. Maybe one area that they were missing is perhaps a defensive forward. Back in the middle, Segler came out to Neil, gets the centre clearance, wobbling ball out to right half forward, scooped up by Charlie Cameron, turned the corner on Kolajasny, said catch me if you can, but the kick at full pace went out of bounds on the foot.
Did you just say Jonathan Brown was accusing someone else of being goal hungry?
That's what I heard.
Short memory from the big Brown. I think with inside 60, he didn't see anything else, did he, Blackie?
Needed to be more defensive. Defensive the thing around the outside of the ground for the big fella.
Ratugolea takes the out-of-bounds free kick for the Cats. Dunkley fighting through the contest, gave it to Ashcroft, missed his boot. Dunkley again, so strong, standing up. Ratugolea, a good mark though. One of the few defenders in the competition who will probably be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with Danaher this season as the Cats escape to the outer side. Good body position from Wilmot on Guthrie. Did well to halve the contest. Well done, young man. Forced the ball up, left half forward for the Lions.
Just to look at the Brisbane Lions forward half, we know McStay's gone, we said how valuable he was, but Gunston slotted straight in and just being just as valuable.
Holmes handballs out to Myers. Stationary handball goes forward. Now the Cats are out. Kolajasny sends a high ball drifting inside the 50, carried a long way. Rowan came down towards Stengel. Handball out towards Tui. Steps outside and was in two minds whether he's going to have a shot on goal or a pass. Stanley got in between two lines. Good recovery there from Harris Andrews. Outside of the right boot. Long ball going back with the flight is Cam Guthrie. Awkward ball for him. Got a little nudge there from Wilmot. Dangerfield coming through. Didn't get a lot of it, or we saw a lot of him in the second quarter to Myers, but his entry was poor and it has been chopped off by Harris Andrews. So it's the Lions extending their half-time lead. They lead by 36 points. They're just going to kick it across their defensive goal line to Starcevic. Doesn't look like there's many options open for him. And he's going to go right up towards Lockie Neal, who just takes that juggling mark. And now they're out of their defensive 50.
Finds his good mate, Link McCarthy. Good mates from SA, those two boys. McCarthy's turned the footy over. Ratugolea just starting to grow into his role as a key defender here this evening.
Your former team, the Power, were really interested in him. The Cats decided to hold on to him and they've found a new role for him, Rocky.
Yeah, they certainly have. Port Adelaide threw everything at him to try and get him across the line. Unfortunately, Geelong wouldn't let him go for Port Adelaide's sake, but he looks really valuable asset down there across half-back. It's going to be interesting to see what both these clubs do in this second half, whether they rest players. I know B's down there at ground level. How many players haven't been on the ground yet for both teams?
We'll get B to give us a running update on that in a moment as Reece Stanley stretches tall and takes a very good mark inside forward 50, and it looks like a 50 is going to be paid, so Reece Stanley is going to be marched all the way to the goal line. Looks like the 50 might have been paid against an indiscretion on Ollie Henry, so
Harris Andrews, the captain, off the ball. I think he just took him out on the Harvey Norman replay there. Liam?
A little bit clumsy from the co-skipper, Rocky.
They tend to be that way, the tall defenders. They've all arms and legs sometimes.
Reece Stanley kicks number 3 for the Cats. 3-3-21, margin back to an even 30 points on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
Yeah, just a strong mark, and then you see Harris Andrews here, just off the ball, not much in it, just went to block the run of a Geelong player, not much in the 50-metre penalty there for mine.
We'll go downstairs. Bob Jane, Team Arts, Belinda Mellon.
Yeah, four players for the Brisbane Lions yet to see game timing. Cockatoo, Fort, Joyce and Sharp. And for the Cats, it is Blitzarves and Menegola, who have spent no time on the ground. So the Lions certainly keeping a little more powder dry than the Cats.
Thank you, B. Bob Jane Team Arts have great buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cashback deals. Call or order online today. T's and C's apply. I don't think Dangerfield hardly played in that second quarter, so he's in the middle now, but McCluggage beats him to the ball and sends the Lions into attack. Radagale got free. Crunch from behind by Eric Hipwood. McCarthy picked up the loose footy and snaps it straight through, but we'll have to see if Radagale is okay. He and Hipwood, that was a big collision for a pre-season game, and they both look a little bit sore there, fellas.
Oh, they do. That was a big, two big 100-plus kilo guys going from different directions, and Eric Hipwood's just up now, limping, and Radagale went back courageously with the fly of the ball here, and he copped an elbow, a straight right elbow from Eric Hipwood, and wouldn't be surprised if Radagale leaves the ground. He'd be a little bit dazed too, would have thought. Big contest.
100 kilos, Eric Hipwood.
I was going to say, Blackie.
Well, surely by now he is.
It came up before when he had a shot from goal, 94.
Oh, okay, long way off.
Triple M Harvey Norman replay. Pointing off the new season at Harvey Norman.
Pointy elbows, eh?
That's about 10 kilos lighter than me at the moment. But, just a great contest, and we spoke about it earlier on, why you hate pre-season games, Blackie. That's the reason why.
Might go down for Bob Jane Team Arts, Belinda Mellon, get an update on Radagale and Hipwood. B.
Both Hipwood and Radagale have come from the ground. Hipwood looks a little worse for wear than Radagale. Radagale walked okay by himself, whereas Hipwood was limping and leaning on the doctor, looking pretty groggy.
Ball up back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. Triple M Rocks footy. Quick, another clearance to young Will Ashcroft. Finds the waiting hands of Jimmy Tunstall. 45 out directly in front. That looks like one of the nastiest cork hips for Eric Hipwood. Yeah. He grabbed at the backside straight away there.
It's straight on bone, effectively, isn't it? No matter where you hit Eric, you're going to hit bones.
James Tunstall, one of these young men looking to force Chris Fagan to pick him for round 1. A goal will help his cause. He's rammed it into the woodwork, minor score. 8-10-58 now the Lions, 3-3-21 the Cats. We've got 15 minutes to play third term. Brighton Homes Arena.
As the Cats come out of defence. Stanley coming past, wants it back from Guthrie. He's going to switch the play to Stewart. And Zach Guthrie calls for it long. Pryor came across, did well, but Guthrie was strong, took a strong mark. Suddenly got a lot bigger and stronger last year. And he's going to drive it up to the wing, to a contest. In fact, no contest. Rowan came through unmarked, took the footy and wants to get it moving to left half forward. Found Stengel. He's got a free player in the goal square. Will he see him a little bit too slow? He's going to centre it up, though. Really poor kick. He had Parfitt there, kicked it straight over his head to Darcy Wilmot.
Just need to get back quickly, wheel and go, didn't he? Had a player on 20 metres by himself, but it just took a little bit too long, intercepted.
Triple M Seabus Super special comments, Simon Black, Tom Rockcliffe tonight. Seabus Super Flanners making hard work pay off.
Darcy Wilmot looks to be rolling lime green bike shorts, which is an interesting choice. Joe Danaher marks uncontested, lowers the eyes, finds Kadeem Coleman. 45 out directly in front.
Flanners looking forward to watching this bloke this year. He's made a really, really big impact from this Lions team the last sort of 12 months, and you just sense he's in the formative stages of his career still, but he's got a big future ahead of him, and I think maybe his third or fourth year now, probably a real breakout season.
The way he guides the footy down onto his boot, it's a bit Darryl White-esque. He's still holding the footy when his boot makes contact with it. He's got those long levers, and he's nailed the goal, has Kadeem Coleman.
He does some things. I know the boys are training like, wow. Does some things that no one else can do. You're right. He's got that incredible talent of skill and nous and just, that laser left foot, as you say, Flanners.
1964, the Brisbane Lions. 3-3-21, the Cats. They're starting to stretch away. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon making every tradie's job easier.
And we haven't seen his brother, Blake, who's on the Lions list as well. And they've brought across Connor McKenna, give them a bit of extra bounce across half-back. They haven't really seen much of him in this third quarter. Is that something, Blackie and Rocky, you think that the Lions needed? A bit of extra pace off? I mean, they've obviously got some good ball users there across half-back.
They certainly do. I think we've spoken about it at length tonight. All elements of their game look really complete at the moment. So as long as they stay healthy, they should be competing really hard again in the pointy end of September, and it's just become a demolition job now. Geelong have, as we've touched on a little bit, they feel like they are just here for a bit of a run, a bit of a captain's run almost on a day before a game. So unfortunately, it's not a great hit out for either club to sit here and watch, but Brisbane have ticked every box tonight, so you'd imagine if they stay healthy, they're going to be hard to beat for most of the season.
Up the Lions end, Dunkley tracking it near the boundary line. Flips a low handball to Wilmot, gets that on his left boot, screws it back, bounces over the head of Danaher. Robinson waiting for it, it won't get there though. O'Connor trying to crash through the tackle of Zach Bailey, who asked the question. The umpire said, we will throw it up. Might get an update shortly from Belinda Mellon on Hipwood and Radigalia, who's still off at the moment from that stoppage. Again, that pack has form. Will go down to B for Bob Jane T-Marts. Belinda.
Eric Hipwood has a massive bandage around his head, so no doubt he will be going through the obvious concussion protocols, as has Asava Radigalia. They're just repairing above his left eye at the moment. Hopefully we'll get some medical updates shortly.
13 minutes to play in the third term. You wonder whether both coaches might put the big fellas on ice rather than run them out there for what's left of this practice match. Tanner Broon.
The interesting one is why Blitzarves hasn't been on the ground. Why would you pick him? Wouldn't you want to play him in the first half, take him off, instead of having him sit there all night and then send him out there? Like, what's he going to prove tonight?
Hughes moves forwards with Holmes, inside forward 50. Henry outstretched, went with the one hand, probably needed two. Boundary throw in, left forward pocket. I mean, I guess Mark Blitzarves, in terms of players that don't need to worry about fitness, is probably the one in the AFL.
He certainly is that, but you'd expect him to play the first half and then potentially sit off the second half. I don't see the point bringing him on with a quarter to go.
We might see him shortly if Radagalia's night is done. Triple M Red Z lending stats. Radagalia had a good night up until that collision there with Eric Hipwood. Blackie.
He did. He's been important down backs, made some really good intercept marks and spoiled the ball really well. He's been really important for them.
Boundary throw in. McInerney and Stanley 50 out from the Cats goal. Robinson flipped the handball out to Connor McKenna. Sends it up towards the wing. That ball should be to Konings to mark, and it is. And he's looking to switch the play. A little bit slow. Those options might have been closed off now.
He's going to be a superstar, Sam de Koning, if not already. He just, the way he plays across half-back, he's going to be a superstar of the competition down in defence for Geelong.
Here is Myers, and he's found Dempsey all on his own in attack, and Ollie Dempsey will go back and line up the big sticks. He kicked a goal in that second quarter, so he will line up for number 2, and his brother, of course, is attracting a lot of interest in headlines at the Blues. Bit of talk about reuniting the McGovern brothers. I reckon having the de Konings together for the next 10 years would be pretty handy.
Yeah. I mean, a great point. I mean, his temperament, that's the great thing. He reminds me of like a young Glenn Jakovich way back in the 90s, where he, first-year player, came in and has held down a key post for his team magnificently well, and his temperament is fantastic.
So Ollie Dempsey for goal number 2, just inside the 50, hugging it towards the right, and it is a behind. 3-4-22, the Cats, 9-10-64 are the Lions. 11 minutes to play in this third term for McDonald's. Score a quick fire 40 with 40 chicken McNuggets and Cajun dipping sauce from Macca's.
Quick cricket update while the ball bobbles around on the deck. Still India 7 down. They lead by 65 runs, so Australia still just looking to knock over the tail. It's Pujara who's providing a real strong defence. 59 not out, the number 3 for India. NRL season opener between Parramatta and Melbourne Storm is headed for extra time, 12 all at full time. Here it is the Lions doing it comfortably on the scoreboard, but both sides getting something out of it as McCarthy sends the Lions deep into forward 50 till he got rid of both Gunston and Charlie Cameron, and then sends them on the way on the outer side through Guthrie.
Zach Tui magnificently. He just understood the drop zone of the footy there, had 2 Lions players around him, but just remained composed and read it beautifully, didn't he? Such a star, Zach Tui.
Very rarely gets beaten as Cam Guthrie sends a switch of play out long and high to Reece Stanley.
Just going back to Sam DeConing as well. I mean, 204 centimetres, long blonde hair. Oh, isn't he just a beautiful man?
Blessed.
Sounds like Rocky's in love as Stanley goes up to a one-on-one, and that one-on-one was marked by Josh Dunkley. One of the buys of the season he will turn out to be. That's a dangerous ball for McKenna. Ball in dispute near the boundary, just forward of the centre. There is that... it was White who just came on, Cooper White. They've got a few players with the long blonde hair and headbands, don't they? Cooper White, Collar Jasny, Blitzarves.
He just got his head ripped off. I mean, there's about 15 umpires out there now. They should be able to see that, shouldn't they?
As White goes up to a contest, rising from behind Andrews. Slapped forward by Fort, I think that was, as it tumbles up towards the wing for Tunstall. One-on-one there with Stanley, and he's taken over the boundary line and out of bounds for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rocks footy, 64 plays 22. Lions leading, less than 10 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
Don't forget you can score a quick fire 40 with 40 chicken McNuggets and Cajun dipping sauce from Macca's, aka the Tom Rockcliffe deal. Boundary throw-in, centre wing.
That's entree.
Side is danger. He's heard the comments about not being sided, and he's imposing himself on the game late as DeConing gets caught up with Harris Andrews.
They've made the move there. DeConing's gone forward. That beautiful looking man, he just shifted into the front half, and standing next to Harris Andrews, it makes him look even better, I think.
Harris Andrews, the new co-captain, didn't get picked for his looks according to Tom Rockcliffe. Is that how they voted for captaincy in your era, Rocky?
That's why I won it.
Must have been an ugly side. Boundary throw in again in front of the interchange gates.
Don't worry about that. It certainly was, particularly on the field.
Might get some Triple M Red Z lending stats from you, Blackie.
Yep, there we go, mate. Brisbane Lions leading possession getter out on the ground. Josh Dunkley with 20. McCluggage 19. Harris Andrews 17 for the Cats. Cam Guthrie 17. Myers 16 and Stewart 15.
As a bunch of players collide and McCluggage comes up with the footy, side on goal, open goal square, goes all the way but just missing to the right-hand side. Hugh McCluggage, 9-11-65 now the Lions, and the Cats are 3-4-22 deep into this third quarter.
Spent some time over in the Himalayas, Hugh McCluggage, over the off-season. Had a trip over the Himalayas, a bit of a charity trip there. Went to some local villages and handed out, did some Oz kick sort of style clinics and things. He had an amazing off-season.
A little bit of altitude training.
Yeah.
Very nice as the Cats attack to the outer side.
That's the one thing he needs to complete his game, isn't it? In front of goals, everything else in his game is sensational. He's tough, he's hard, he runs, he's polished, delivering the footy inside 50. Unfortunately, the one element, and everyone's got a flaw in their game, and unfortunately for McCluggage, that's in front of goal.
Ball up, spinning move from the Cats. Dangerfield starting to get busy, kicks it forward, left half forward. Rowan in a wrestle here with Payne, gets out the back. He's pursued by Coleman. Rowan goes off the deck. Oh, luck's a fortune for DeConing, the most handsome man in the universe. Slots his first for the evening. It was a tumble kick off the deck from Gary Rowan that sets up the goal. Number 4 for the Cats. 4-4-28. Geelong, Brisbane, 9-11-65. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
He's just slotted that one through, and he's just walked back to his teammates like he's walking down Surfers Paradise later on tonight down at Hollywoods or something like that, Blackie. They're back off to Broadbeach tonight, Geelong. He's a super player. We know what he can do in defence, but he's got that ability to go forward as well. He got a little bit lucky there. Harris Andrews was playing really aggressive defence in front, but he got out the back and finishes a goal. So if Geelong go into round one not having those superstars in their front half, this is an option for him, and it's good that Scotty's willing to try something in this game to see if they can implement something different in that forward half if their superstars are missing.
Well, they were lacking a big target, and so De Koning's got himself on the scoreboard. Segler tapped it down, but Neil got the handball there to Dunkley. Touch number 22 for the former Bulldog. And they're going to get a free kick in front of goal. Here's the Brisbane Lions. It'll go to Lincoln McCarthy, I think.
It was a good wrestle between Jed Buse and Link McCarthy. I thought it was going to go, in fact, Buse's way, but it hasn't. It's gone to the forward in McCarthy here. We'll have a look on the Triple M Harvey Norman replay in a second, but we see here, in fact, McCarthy had a fistful of Buse's hands jumper there, so he's very lucky to get that free kick, Rob.
Yeah, he copped a little one around the neck, but gee whiz, that could have gone either way, couldn't it? I mean, that's not a free kick 9 times out of 10. Maybe this is because they've got 4 umpires out there. They identify everything now.
Lining up for goal number 3, just inside the 50. Looks pretty good off the boot. No, just missing to the left. And 9-12-66 now the Lions, 4-4-28. Big collision in this turn between Eric Hipwood and Asava Radigalea. Let's get an update with Belinda Mellon downstairs for Bob Jane T-Marts B.
Asava Radigalea is back out on the ground, so that is good news. Eric Hipwood, on the other hand, is on the bike with a patch on his knee, so possibly a cork knee that he's trying to ride out. Also, word on Mark Blitzers is that he has come down with an upset stomach during the game, so while he hasn't officially been withdrawn, he certainly won't be seeing any field time. And Sam Menegola also pulled up a bit sore after the warm-up, so they are going to try to keep him on ice as well if possible.
Oh, dodgy curry for the Blitz. Ball up, out of side. Brighton Homes Arena as Ashcroft again gets in a one-on-one with Patrick Dangerfield and gives him a shove for his trouble.
You talk about men that love beers. Blitzarves is certainly up there, and I just wonder whether he's just been down there at Broady and had a couple too many last night. I'm sure he hasn't.
Allegedly.
But he's a Superman, Blitz, and enjoys a beer, so hopefully that stomach improves itself over
You've got the inside word on everyone. The property mogul of Springfield in Simon Black, the tight-fisted Daniel Rich.
Rocky's got bullets in the chamber.
The beer-swilling Blitzarves.
He's not scared to fire him off, BT.
Cats are away. Bruin. Oh, there's Henry. And Starcevic lost flight of the footy. In fact, he wasn't looking at the footy, according to the umpire. Held Starcevic illegally. And Brandon Starcevic, one of the best small defenders in the AFL. And Ollie Henry, although he plays as a key forward, is only 189 centimetres, so Starcevic with his strength is able to play on him. They're out of defence now, the Lions. Jackson Pryor has the footy. 9-12-66, Brisbane 4-4-28, the Cats. 6 to play, third quarter. Up towards the wing. Good, strong contested mark taken from Danaher in front of Radigalea. Choice Hotels around the grounds. Full time at Freo Oval. The Dockers beating the Power by 31 points. Pat Lipinski did his shoulder playing for the Pies, who beat the Hawks by a goal in Launceston.
For those following the NRL, the Storm have gotten up in Golden Point.
Wow.
16-12.
Of course they have.
The streak continues. Craig Bellamy has never lost a game, and that round 1 matchup as coach of the Melbourne Storm. It's an incredible record. The Lions have won a free kick here. Dunkley pinning Bruin, holding the footy. Just a little bit of a contest of strength there as Dunkley won. Big Oscar in the pocket. Tom Stewart, as he so often does, read it best. Intercept mark. Now he accelerates away. Jack Payne standing up.
It's going to be interesting, that new rule with the 4 umpires out on the ground. There's only been the 33 kicks paid tonight. We haven't noticed it. I certainly haven't. I don't know what you guys think.
Radigalea in the Lions attack now. Just slipped through his hands. Comes up towards the goal square. Getting down low. Adkins trying to find a teammate in Guthrie, who found Holmes. A short pass wasn't on. He's kicked it out of bounds on the full. Good pressure there from the Lions forwards as Kolajasny's a little bit slow to get up. We'll keep an eye on Jake Kolajasny as the Lions will now line up the big sticks. It's Jackson Pryor coming up to take this free kick, and you dare say he's going to take a couple of steps out to his right and have a snap. No, he'll go with the standard drop punt. Try and tee it up for McCarthy. Getting back Darcy Fort on the ground. Clever tap there from McCarthy. Didn't come off though, and it's picked up by Cooper White. Clearing ball out of defence. Starcevic waited for that ball to bounce. Andrews there in support, got the hands free. Back to Starcevic. Onto his left. Tumbling ball was Clever. Through the hands there of Neil. Enough time to recover. Just buffered it over the boundary line by Max Holmes.
Getting back to that point before, I haven't noticed that the 4 umpires out there, the free kicks have all sort of been there, I think, tonight. We haven't noticed it, so maybe it might be a good change. We need a bigger trial period, obviously, to see if it has any effect on the game.
Yeah, right. There's no doubt the umpires that would have spoken about as a department that an extra umpire doesn't mean extra blow on the whistle. It's more for the obscure ones that you normally get blocked at another angle, another person, another set of eyes, isn't it? So,
it was a heavy contest. Jack Payne just jumped through the body of a teammate there. We'll keep an eye on that in back play with B for Bob Jones Team Arts. It was a slap of a handball from Charlie. I'm not sure if that was strictly legal. Jimmy Tunstall spun in the tackle by Stewart. Turnover after turnover here from both sides. Segler finds Parfitt. Parfitt dribbled around the body. Charlie looking to atone. And we are going to have a boundary throw in. Triple M Red Z Lending Stats. Red Z Lending Loans for the self-employed. REDZED.com. And we're just seeing a Harvey Norman replay of Jake Kolajasny looks to have collided heads with Link McCarthy, so there might be a HIA concern there. We'll get down to Belinda for Bob Jones Team Arts. B, what can you tell us?
If you watch the doctor's body language coming off the ground, he is out for the rest of the game. He gives head shake, thumbs down, no. So I reckon we won't see him again.
Yeah, night over, I reckon, for Jake Kolajasny. Up to the wing now. Broadcast side, Guthrie. Hot footy. Ashcroft wants it back from Neil, who turns and kicks out towards the boundary. Coming through McCluggage, made that kick look good, and great handball there from Ashcroft. Back through traffic now is Lockie Neal. Back to Will Ashcroft, who trusts him to kick that footy and find a target, but the Cats have the numbers. Bailey pushed under it by Zach Guthrie, and he's going to send that ball. Oh, beautiful kick into space. A weighted delivery there for Tyson Stengel, who can turn and send them into attack. McKenna desperately getting back. Simpson, did he take the mark? Not quite. Should have left it for O'Connor. Picks it up, tried to shrug the tackle of Robertson. But they've got it back here, the Lions. Through McKenna. Can he pick up the footy? Off his bootlaces. Sweeping the footy up now is Radigalea. Off towards Stengel. Outside of the right boot. It's a wobbly, ugly-looking delivery into attack. Well picked up, though, by De Koning, the best-looking man in footy now. Daniel Rich said, my hair bun is better than yours. Off to Ashcroft, out wide, and they've found Joe Danaher all on his lonesome.
He's in a paddock. He doesn't have a right foot, so he uses the left to chip inside forward 50. Gunston not going to get there. Stewart wearing him closely. Boundary thrown inside the forward 50. Quick update from India, the third test. Nathan Lyon is tearing the heart out of this Indian batting lineup. He's taken 7 second innings wickets.
Wow.
India is currently 9 for 155 with a 67-run lead. Nathan Lyon has 10 for the test match. Boundary throw in inside the Lions forward 50. Buse and Guthrie, and we'll get those Red Z Lending Stats off you in a moment. Black ears, a mark not paid to McInerney. Grimes shoveled it out to Parfitt. Parfitt doesn't like what he saw upfield, tried to turn back, was pursued by McKenna, who didn't give up. Second and third efforts, but a good contest in the corridor by Close. Wins the footy, sends it forward for the Cats around the head against Stengel. It'll be a free kick to the Cats, small forward against Dan Rich.
Just had good position on Dan Rich there, Stengel. A little bit probably smaller than Rich, but he just worked his body out beautifully to own that drop zone on the ball, forced Rich to put the arm over the shoulder and force a free kick. He was a good player last year, wasn't he, Stengel? I mentioned earlier, an All-Australian, and he's one that really bulked up and delivered far more than probably expectation, and he's going to be important again this year. And he will no doubt get a bit more attention. He'll probably start getting the best small defender a lot more regularly in 2023.
You saw the pride that Eddie Betts, the Carlton and Adelaide Crows champion, had when Tyson Stengel played a role in the Cats premiership. He joined the club, told them to take a chance on young Tyson, and he might want to take him back to kicking school after that after he put it out of bounds on the full.
It's come off his shin as well.
So a minute 30 remaining in the quarter.
I think that ball landed in Ipswich. Went sideways.
38 points as the Lions lead. Not a lot to get excited about in this third term from either side. It's now just about getting through without any injuries. Close, low handball, picked up by McCluggage. They're out through Neil. Dunkley, fast hands. Ashcroft forced to kick hurriedly. Bailey again outnumbered, but did well to create a contest. Adkins, fast hands there from Stanley, took a hand on the way through, I think. Myers kicking into the pocket. Not sure if he meant it, but it was good to close. Gave it off towards Cam Guthrie. The snap there has been missed by Cam Guthrie through 4A behind. 4-5-29 now, Geelong trailing the Lions 9-12-66 with just over a minute remaining in this third term.
It's going to be interesting to see what both teams do at three-quarter time here, whether they rest some players. Geelong, we know that they've got a couple of injured or sick guys on there. I've seen Darcy Fort come on. I think Eric Hipwood may be out of action for the rest of the night. I'm not sure exactly, but they've got 3 guys up their sleeve that they haven't used. So whether they want to rest some of their stars, which you'd imagine Cameron, Lockie Neal and guys like that would come off the ground.
Here's big Darcy Fort with the footy in hand. Chips backwards, finds Rich. Pace just going out of it inside the final minute of the third term here. Another quarter to go. And this young man has, as the game's gone on, to seem to get more and more comfortable at the level Will Ashcroft.
Disposal, number 18 coming up for young Ashcroft.
Lowered the eyes nicely there. Picked off his co-captain, who he seems to be developing a relationship with. Rocky Blackie, I'll get your thoughts at the three-quarter time break on what it is like as a young midfielder coming into such a star-studded group as the Lions do have in 2023. There was a shove in the back there from McInerney, not picked up by the umpire. Quick hands play on. Bailey drops it to the top. Saw that Danaher had the mismatch. Danaher outbodied by Guthrie. There's the three-quarter time siren. The Lions are going to take a 37-point lead into the final term of this practice match at Brighton Homes Arena. 9-12-66. Brisbane, Geelong 4-5-29. A final quarter to go here before these two teams get stuck into the season proper. Belinda Mellon, Tom Rockcliffe, Simon Black, Liam Fleming and Brett Thomas is your call team. For McDonald's and Ream Hotwater, Triple M, Rocks Footy.
That quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks footy.
score a quick-fire 40 with 40 Chicken McNuggets and Cajun dipping sauce from Macca's.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M.
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
We're still a couple of weeks out from the season proper kicking off, but here at Brighton Homes Arena with a quarter to go, it is the Brisbane Lions comfortably in control with a 37-point lead over the reigning premiers, the Geelong Cats, two teams that most are predicting to feature at the pointy end of the AFL season. Once it gets underway in earnest, Liam Flanagan here alongside Brett Thomas calling all the action. Simon Black, Tom Rockcliffe on the Seabus Super Special comments. And this woman for Bob Jane Team Arts, Belinda Mellon, boundary side. A couple of injury updates from that third term, B. What's the latest on Eric Hipwood to start?
Yeah, they have ruled him out, not with a concussion, but with a cork to his knee, so he will take no further part in the game. Jake Kolajasny also believed to be out for the rest of the game with concussion. Watching Reece Stanley during that break, he was getting a massive taping to his right knee, so that's one to watch closely. You do wonder that if someone's under a cloud, why they tape them up and send them back out there and not rest them, but that is obviously up to the coaching staff, not up to me. And Asava Radigalia, who had that head knock, cut above the left eye, is also back out there continuing to take his part in the game.
Nice work there for Bob Jane Team Arts. Bob Jane Team Arts have great buy three, get one free, plus instant cashback deals. Call or order online today. T's and C's apply. Blackie, if you're Chris Scott or if you're Chris Fagan, what do you want to see in this final term?
Well, it's a great opportunity for match fitness. They're playing full minutes tonight, and it's a great opportunity then to run the game out. But at the same time, you also want to manage your best players, and you've got if this is your second practice game, your stars of your side, you generally want to pull off throughout the last part of the you distract me there, right?
You walked him into that one.
Last quarter. Anyway.
What do you think of Scott West as a player? I'll try and save you there.
Yeah.
In terms of the players we haven't seen, Blackie for both sides, Harry Sharp, Nakai Cockatoo, Dara Joyce, the key defender, the former Saint, and then from the Cats, Menangola and Blitzarves, which is a bit of an odd one, as Rocky pointed out. So a bit of run for both sides. At what point do you start thinking about putting your stars on ice?
Probably halfway through the last quarter, I reckon. Yeah.
All right, let's get this last term underway from Springfield, Brighton Homes Arena. It is the Lions with a healthy 37-point lead. They have led all night against the Cats, who are missing the Norm Smith medalist Isaac Smith. Mitch Duncan's out with a bit of an injury. And their key pillars in attack, Hawkins and also Cameron. The new captain, Dangerfield, gets the handball out. And charging out, taking a great mark was Ollie Henry. 50 out from goal. Directs it towards the pocket, though it favours Caneen Coleman. The long arms there of Rowan coming across, affecting the spoil. Out of bounds will throw it in. 50 out from the Cats' goal. That was a wonderful mark there from Ollie Henry, fellas.
Great mark, yeah. Rose high above a bit of a parking and come down hard. But, yeah, great sign for young Henry there, playing in that half-forward position.
His brother Jack injured a foot against the Hawks last week. He's had surgery, unfortunately. Dangerfield, another handball. Holmes sold his teammate into trouble. Ashcroft came across. Was it holding the footy? Ashcroft didn't get a boot to that ball, but play goes on up towards the right half-forward flank. Lions end. Radagale with a bit of class and nice pass there on towards Tom Stewart. That's been a great move from Chris Scott, sending Radagale back. He's looking strong. Looks like he's had a good summer and looks composed across that back line. McCluggage, fast hands. Andrews ends up with Dunkley. Up through the middle, the Lions go.
Elevates McKenna. Back to Coleman. The run is on. What about this parade off half-back for the Lions all the way inside 450? Charlie. Now, careful, Mark O'Connor. You might get embarrassed here. He dances around, lasers at corridor. Here's your co-skipper, Lockie Neal. Rare mistake from Neal. Snapped it too sharp. Minor score, 9-13-67. The Lions 4-5-29. The Cats a 38-point lead on the Triple M Footy Prime Time. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard, beg your pardon. Supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
Cats out of defence up towards the wing. Handball over the top from McCluggage and ends up with Kaneen Coleman. Good movement here from the Lions again, and they have the outnumber in the forward line. Gunston going back with the fly, coming through Charlie Cameron. Good tackle, Radigalea. Got it to Fort. The big man somehow got that the footy on his boot from a long way up, and he's kicked the goal. Darcy Fort, the ex-Cat, played 18 games last year. He's been a handy pickup for the Brisbane Lions. Blackie, Rocky, will he... When you've got Gunston, Danaher and Hipwood, can you also play McInerney and Fort?
Yeah, I don't think you can play both, and Blackie spoke about it before that I'd probably play Danaher as a second ruck just to go in there for a 5-minute pinch hit and whatnot. But you just look at the way the Brisbane Lions move that footy, then Harris Andrews almost as the gatekeeper or the goalkeeper of that long ball down the contest. In the past, I think they would have turned outside. His initial reaction was to turn inside, gave the handball to the corridor, and then it just opened the whole field up with the Brisbane Lions going back inside 50. And they just look in complete cruise control at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. And just to back up Blackie's point, I think the coaches will be looking to pull off their best players within sort of halfway through this quarter.
For Ream Hot Water, built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream.
Ball back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rocks footy. Stengel with a strong mark over Connor McKenna. Just judge the drop zone better. He'll go the round the body kick now. He's jammed up on the boundary. 35 from home. All-Australian small forward last year.
He's always had the talent. I think that's never been in question.
If you're an Adelaide Crows fan, you'd be slightly disappointed that he couldn't put it together while he was at your club, and now he's gone on to become what he has with the Cats. There's
a crazy stat, obviously playing for Port Adelaide down there, but I think the last 8 All-Australians out of the Adelaide Crows are now at different clubs. They've won them somewhere else. So
all the way back to Kurt Tippett, Phil Davis, and
they've lost a fair few.
Gunston's another one. They've let a few go.
Dangerfield.
They got Isaac Rankin. He'll be a really good pickup for them. Here is Cockatoo, the former Cat, just on the ground, seeing his first minutes in his 4th term. Slides in, takes the mark. Up towards Will Ashcroft. His Red Z lending numbers. There's Simon Black. What's he up to?
19th touch.
Classy touches as well. Slams that on the boot. Reading it well off the boot there was Darcy Fort. He was the first to react. He saw it was going to fall short. And Darcy Fort will line up the big sticks. This from a bit further out than his last shot. And will probably from about 50 out.
If he ends up slotting 3 or 4 in this last quarter, that's our match committee heading in round
6
1.
hours.
It's just all over the ground. There's hardly a position where there's not 2 or 3 fighting for it. Darcy Fort, lifelong Lions fan, just inside the 50, gets underneath it, on its way, it's long, it's home. Darcy Fort's kicked 2 in the last quarter, and the Lions kick away on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. He gets a rub on the head there from Daniel Rich. 11-13-79 the Lions, 4-6-30 are the Cats.
Well, he had the record, didn't he, for the most goals before kicking a behind. 12? Yeah.
12 to start his career, kicked 12 straight.
12. And then he did miss once, Funners, didn't he? Yes, unfortunately. He ruined it. But look, he is a beautiful kick, and that's a great example of that from 50-odd metres out. Beautiful kick from the big fella, and as you say, he's going to be a great backup, isn't he? Like, he might, who knows how many games he might play a lot of footy, but with Danaher back in the shoulder operation, you expect him to be that backup ruckman for Oscar McInerney, but Darcy Ford's a fantastic backup solution.
It is probably, if they get injuries, probably the thinnest line in terms of backups. After Fort McInerney, it's really Tom Fullerton, who's not really a kind of a genuine ruckman.
Ball back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. Triple M Rocks footy. Free kick pay.
They do have Ben Hudson there somewhere. He could come out of retirement again. Rookie draft mid-season again.
Dempsey with the football. Hands off to Guthrie. Inside forward 50. Good fly came from Rowan. Well defended there by Starcevic. Wore him like a glove, then drove him into the ground. Knew he'd done it. Free kick, Rowan.
It's a very valid point, though. I think that's probably, you look at the one area of the Brisbane Lions, that's probably their weakest in the depth front. Two great options to be the first ruckman there, McInerney and then Ford. But, it gets pretty thin. We're talking at the moment about the Brisbane Lions footy team. There's 33 or 34 players off the top of our heads that need to fit into 22 or 3 for round one. So it's a great position to be in. Geelong, we know that they're missing some stars tonight, but, the Brisbane Lions have ticked every box so far this summer. Gary
Rowan lining up for another one. Beautiful kick off the boot. And he's just shaved the post to the outer side. Minor score, 4-7-31. Margin is 48 points on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon making every tradie's job easier.
Lions coming out of defence. They found Starcevic. Rocky, does that make it even more vital that they win a premiership or at least get to a grand final this year? Because they can't keep them all, you wouldn't think.
Yeah, that's right. They're going to have salary cap pressure at some point, there's no doubt about that. But you talk about this season, this summer, how good is it that you get the two grand final teams from last year in the summer? You cherry ripe for round one. Sometimes you can get a false sense of security in the pre-season. You play a couple of bottom teams and you think you're going better than what you are. The Brisbane Lions know exactly where they're at heading into round one.
And here they come again, going into attack. Danaher waiting for it at the back. Let Guthrie fly at the footy. He should be paid that mark. Zach Guthrie, second bite of the cherry, but maybe he hit the ground first. So the Lions get a stoppage in their forward 50.
Of course, round one is the Tom Rockcliffe Cup.
Exactly right. They take on Port Adelaide. And you talk about contrasting in form. Port Adelaide have been beaten twice by West Coast and Fremantle in the summer. Brisbane have beaten the two premiership the two grand finalists. I'd imagine Brisbane will be heavy favourites heading into round one.
Any conversation between you and Sammy Mays as to who that game should be named in honour of?
There's a few of us. Tommy Logan as well.
Logan?
There's a few that have played in both of them.
Scott Harding.
Yes, there is a few. Clearly I'm number one.
I was going to say.
No, it is great. They're both great footy clubs. Enjoyed my time thoroughly at both clubs, and I honestly hope it's a grand final between them two. And now that I'm living back in Queensland, that Brisbane win.
Adam Huskus.
Oh, it's going back a while.
Again, donuts. From BT. He's been on fire tonight if you're just joining.
He's been good. He's been very good.
You need to go back and listen to a couple of Amy Clangers in the first or second.
Brett Thomas. Been superb. Been a good call. First up for the whole team. Been a great performance by this man, Will Ashcroft. He gave it to Charlie Cameron, who coughed the footy up, though. Chance for the Cats here. Rayner stood in the way. Rayner now a defender. Lockie Neal goes backwards there, finds Dara Joyce, another Irishman. There's 5 of them out there this evening. Real Irish flavour to the game. And as Guthrie comes corridor, a good switch of play. Finds Rowan on the run. Wilmot tries to guard the space. Good kick inside forward 50 from Rowan. Finds Stengel 20 metres out directly in front. Terrific vision.
Just the ability to pull that kick across your body when you're running near full pace. That's a real skill, isn't it? That's a real art. And Gary Rowan, a little bit like a Steve Johnson type pass, that one. Beautifully done.
Certainly was. And you just look at the way Geelong moved the footy then with the smaller forward line. You have to shift angles, Blackie. You can't go direct line. You've got to change angles. They went to the corridor, they went to the outside, and then just dragged it back inside. So really good ball movement.
Triple M Seabus Super special comments. Seabus Super making hard work pay off. Tom Rockcliffe, Simon Black. And Stengel adds another one to his account for the evening. Goal number 5 for the Cats. scoreboard somewhat irrelevant. 37-79, 42-point margin with 12.5 to play on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Triple M Red Z Lending Stats, Blackie. Just give us an idea of where Will Ashcroft is as far as the overall big ball winners.
He's the 4th for the Lions. He's at the 21. Lockie Neal leading the way with 27. Dunkley 26. McCluggage 24. So the 3 guns in that midfield group for Brisbane, all getting a lot of it for the Cats. Cam Guthrie had 20. Myers 19. Stengel 17.
Red Z Lending Loans for the self-employed. REDZED.com.
Since just before half-time, the Cats have had 10 marks inside forward 50. They didn't have one up until probably just say halfway through the second quarter. So they've found a bit of structure, a bit of cohesion between that midfield group and forward group, lowering their eyes and changed angles several times really well to good effect. So it's given them an opportunity to score far better after quarter time.
Darcy Fort gets the free kick out of the ruck contest, pumps it into attack. He's kicked 2 goals in this term. Stewart tackled by Cameron, ball in dispute, left forward pocket, Lions attacking, and Gunston takes O'Connor to the ground. The umpire will come in and throw it up.
They've really evened up those inside 50s now, Brisbane. 46 on the Red Z Lending Stats for them and 48 for Geelong.
42 points, the Lions lead. Screwed across the goal face by Gunston. Buse under pressure there from Cameron, lost the footy. Bruin also, the heat's on him. Cameron goes in again. Ashcroft, clever handball, got it out to Wilmot. Good pressure there from close, just bumped him off the kick. Ashcroft cleans up the footy though. And now they go up towards their goal square. Cross there was Tunstall, couldn't quite take the mark. Dunkley still on the ground, tapped it into space. Myers will get there first. Danaher hot on his hammer, but they have negotiated that well. Cooper White kicks them out of defence up towards Dempsey. Rose high and a little bit early, but in fact the free kick will go to Harris Andrews just for tugging the jumper there, Flanners.
Yes, Harris Andrews, the newly announced co-captain of the Lions side alongside Lockie Neal for 2023. Update from India. They have been bowled out in their second innings for 163. Nathan Lyon putting on one of his career best performances, 8 for 64. He finishes the test match with 11 wickets in total after he took 3 in the first innings, and now Australia will need to chase down 75 runs to secure a surprising test win. The series is already lost. The Indians have retained the Border Gavaskar Trophy, but a chance to restore a little bit of pride in the tour as the Cats attempt to rebound and keep it out of their defensive 50. Wilmot, a good strong one-on-one mark v Stengel. Switches the footy, finds Coleman. Has Gunston walking past, but this is the man they want the footy in the hands of. Left shoe, went low, looked for Danaher. Coming through was Bailey, who will check his Red Z Lending Stats. I don't feel like we've seen a heap of Zach Bailey tonight. Tom Rockcliffe anointed him as his man.
Once I did that, he's
gone missing.
He's been very quiet since that first. He started on fire in that first quarter and a half. But yeah, now that you say that, he's been very quiet since then.
So had the 13 touches, kicked the 1 goal.
Contracted until 2026, so they were smart the way that they've organised their contracts and salary cap, that they've locked up guys like him and McCluggage, and then were able to go out with enough room to sign someone like a Dunkley and a Gunston as well. McStay going to the Pies this year, who beat the Hawks by a goal earlier today in Launceston. Lipinski did his shoulder, and the Dockers a comfortable win over the Power. Here it's the Lions by 42 points in the fourth quarter in Springfield. Harry Sharp, just on the ground, got it to Dunkley. Outside of the left boot goes Daniel Rich. High ball to centre half forward. Going back was White through traffic, was really clever on the left. Out towards the point of the square. Stengel was he held. I think McKinnon knew that he'd given away that free kick, and Tyson Stengel will have to run, pick up the footy as numbers stream into the Cats forward 50. He's got the captain at centre half forward on his own. Dangerfield will set the mark and might have a ping at the goals from outside the arc.
If you kick this from probably 54 metres, probably wouldn't struggle with distance, but he can swim, Flanners, you're suggesting.
Can.
Triple M Red Z Lending Stats. He's had the 18, 10 of those contested, 6 clearances, and spent a bit of time off the ground as well. The new captain of the Geelong Footy Club with Tom Stewart, his vice-captain. He's looked around momentarily like he thought about passing it off, but he's going to send this on its way. A long kick, hangs out to the left. Will it have the distance? Not quite, or the accuracy. Fisted over by the Big O. Through for a behind. Lions by 41 points, 9 minutes left in this contest. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy.
Dangerfield's another one that the longer the game's gone on, the better he's got, I think. His second half's been much more impressive. He's had that burst around stoppages that we've come to know for Paddy Dangerfield. We know that he's had his issues recently with those injuries, calves, late last year, but he was back to his best in the grand final. And the longer this game's gone, the better he's got. So I think he's primed for round one as well and he'll be up and about. The first time he's ever captained a club. We know that there was all that scrutiny around Adelaide. If he had been made captain, would he have stayed? Would he have gone? But I think he's really settled in Geelong and a good appointment.
The king of Moggs Creek, Patrick Dangerfield. The compound he's built. I think he's fairly comfortable with his decision. He's now a premiership player as a result of that thumping that they delivered the Sydney Swans in the last game of the 2022 season.
Again, you talk about the Brisbane Lions, salary cap. How Geelong just do it. They find a way to just bring in top-end talent all the time. Dangerfield's one of them.
It's a destination club, Rocky.
Well, yes, again, I'd be looking at properties, etc.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Amazing what players will give up for the chance to win a competition as Robertson takes a chest mark right forward pocket for the Lions. He'll go back. He'll be straightened up on the line by the umpire. And he'll kick it his first for the evening.
Young Dev Robertson is a player that's been in and out of the side over his little short career so far, and he's going to have a challenge getting a regular spot in this team, obviously, with some of these acquisitions. But he's a good young player, honest, super competitive, and I'd like to see him get an opportunity and grasp it this year because he's been around for a few years now.
A little soft spot for your fellow Western Australian?
Sure do.
Dev Robertson. Oh, he had the whisper of Simon Black in his ear there. He slots it. Just gives Chris Fagan something to think about for round one. The Cats, they will begin their premiership defence at the MCG when they take on Collingwood. It's a home game for the Cats, and yet it's played at the home of the Collingwood Magpies. But you'd imagine that there would be a massive crowd for that game. The defending premiers against the Collingwood side that, with that young, youthful team, really went on a run that surprised most last year.
Yeah, Friday night footy. It's going to be a cracking round one. I think we're all itching to get there now, aren't we? And you just look down at the interchange bench down there. The Brisbane Lions have used everyone now. Everyone's been out there for a run. So McCluggage was just off the ground. He might have just gone back on, but you've got Danaher sitting there. You'd imagine he may not come back on. Rayner's sitting there. Link McCarthy as well. So it'll be interesting to see what the coaches do from here on out, whether they sit a few of their players down and just put them on ice.
Ashcroft shrugs the tackle, tumbling kick in the centre square, getting down low. How about the get up and go there from Tui? They're up and running now, the Cats through hands. Cam Guthrie back through traffic. As Myers' kick took a hand from Wilmot on the way through. Good tackle there from Darcy Ford, standing up Gary Rowan. Eric Hipwood's night was done in the third term, collision with Radicalair. We'll get an update on some of the injuries and what's happening on the benches in a moment from Belinda Mellon for Bob Jane T-Marts. Off the bootlaces there of Neil. Scooped up one-handed, if you don't mind, on a dewy night from Cam Guthrie, but he was held holding the footy. We'll go downstairs now for Bob Jane T-Marts, Belinda Mellon.
Yes, Hugh McCluggage had just come back on the ground, and Cam Rayner, who I thought they may rest also, he is looking to come back on the ground and looks like he'll spend some time up forward. So after his transition to down back, he gets maybe an odd shot at goal as well.
Ashcroft was bumped off the footy late by Cam Guthrie. This gave Guthrie a bit of a shove. And then Dunkley came across and sent him to the turf. You have to be careful this isn't overturned. Letting him know all about it. Daniel Rich is having a word as well. They'll let the play go on. And they'll just kick a goal there, the Brisbane Lions. I think that was Charlie Cameron. Everyone had gone to sleep, and the Lions took it up the other end and just popped one through.
Yeah, Harvey Norman replay will be interesting here. I wonder if Guthrie will be have something to answer for here. Just taking a little dive, a little stumble. He didn't get much attention there. He sort of indicated to Dunkley to come over and then just flopped. So I wonder whether they'll look at that and either send him a warning. You know, you don't want to see that in the game. That could incite a melee or something like that. But good ball movement from Brisbane. They stayed switched on. The ball transition on the Harvey Norman replay. Gunston to the corridor, and Zach Bailey, my man, just went bang from 50 and sent it sailing home.
Triple M Harvey Norman replay. Kick off the new season at Harvey Norman. Cam Guthrie just put the hard, strong body on young Will Ashcroft. Just made him earn it. And then you like to see it because Josh Dunkley went over and looked after his young teammate, Blackie.
He did. I don't think there was a lot in it from Cam Guthrie, but it's good, solid contact. But, yeah, good sign for Josh Dunkley. You're going to get that. He's got a big heart. He's a big team man. He's going to be invaluable for this Lions midfield, no doubt. Great acquisition once again.
There was a photo floating around of Josh Dunkley in the pre-season, one of those where he's flexed up deluxe. Blackie, I don't recall one of those photos of you during your career.
No, I was built like a pretzel.
As the Cats move it inside forward 50, spills out the back. Ollie Henry, hands and knees, handballed it back to Guthrie. Good, strong tackle late. Oh, and they're into him. 6 of them have jumped on top of Cam. There seems to be a good nature about it, but...
You did mention before, Liam, about a young guy coming into an organisation with superstars around him. I was lucky enough to come in. I'll let you just call that. It's gone out of bounds.
Yeah, Steggall's staff has been touched over for a rush behind.
You come into an organisation, I was lucky enough to come in and play under and learn from the likes of Simon Black, Luke Power. It's just invaluable, that experience, and just the ability to learn off those guys. If you shadow someone like that and learn the right ways to do things, it goes a long way to your career. So Ashcroft's so lucky. He can come in, he can learn off Lockie Neal. There's a number of players that he can learn off, but he looks like he hasn't missed a beat so far. So he's in a great environment to go really succeed from an early stage, but also for a long time.
Cats into attack. Myers looking for Bruin out wide. Dangerfield has another player out wide. Stengel steps inside, outside of the right boot. If you don't mind, Tyson Stengel, probably the highlight of what has been a fairly average night from the Geelong Footy Club. And he's lighting it up late here, the former Tiger and Crow, with a bit of class. 6-9-45 the Cats, 13-13-91 are the Lions. It's a 46-point lead to the home team deep into this fourth quarter, just under 5 minutes remaining.
Just to go back to that point as well about Will Ashcroft coming in, I got to learn off the like Simon Black, but you came in when Vossi was there, for instance. Like, it's just so beneficial, isn't it, to have someone like that?
It is. It shapes your career, really. Again, understand of the work rate required and the standards and just the enjoyment factor and the care factor that you have for playing with your mates, and you want to buy every ounce of your energy into giving to your teammates in the footy club. And yeah, it's wonderful to have such great mentors, obviously, Rock. And you can see here with Will Ashcroft, the boys are trying to look after him, aren't they? You can just see they're trying to. He's got a big profile already, big reputation, and they're trying to get around him to support him. It's a really good sign.
Blackie, as the Lions surge forward, Lockie Neal takes it away from a free kick. Joe Danaher, strong mark out in front of Radagalia. The man on the mark, Asava, stands right on the 50-yard. So this is within Joe's remit. Jasper Fletcher was the other father-son. Not quite as high profile a draftee to the Lions as Ashcroft, but still plenty of talk about him. How has he settled in, do you know?
Yeah, well, I believe, as we see Danaher go to the pocket.
Danaher's gone short of the pocket, spoiled by Atkins, will have a boundary throw in.
Look, I don't think he's as physically mature as what, say, Will Ashcroft is. I think that's noted. But look, I think he's applied himself really well. I think he's had a pretty good summer in terms of done at least 89% of the pre-season, and he's working on his craft, but there's probably a few ahead of him at the moment, so he'll have a good apprenticeship, but I think he's a good chance to play some footy throughout the year at some stage.
Geez, his dad Adrian knew how to find the footy as Harris Andrews fist that ball out of bounds. We're about 55 out from the Lions goal, Rocky.
And it's actually a good thing to do an apprenticeship still. I still believe in that you should actually play a bit of reserves footy and learn your craft and try and fight to get into that senior team.
That's the luxury the Lions can have as they come out of the stoppage. Robertson got it to Rich. Standing snap around the corner. Good mark there from Cooper White's done some nice things in this last term. Geelong Falcon product.
I remember my first or second pre-season at Brisbane. Vossi sent me around to tag Blackie in an intra-club, and one of the nicest people you'll ever meet if you ever run into Simon Black on the street or in a night out in the Fortitude Valley. One of the best people you'll ever meet. And I'm thinking, how good's this? I get to follow him around. He's going to teach me everything. I think the first or second bounce, I copped one fair in the throat from Simon Black as the ball went up, and it just wakes you up. But they are the lessons that you learn to be great. You've just got to learn to do that physicality, and they play with an element of...
on the edge.
Yeah, they play on the edge, and it teaches you straight away. So it was a great lesson. I thought Blackie was a really good fellow. I quickly learned he wasn't.
Yeah. Blackie's only ever hit 2 people in his life. Kane Corns was the other one. So
my old mate Cornsish.
Boundary throw in. Inside forward 50 for the Lions. Oh, what about the tap from McInerney? He went looking for Bailey. Little bit of polish here from the Brisbane Lions. Time for a full 360. Bailey gave it back to the big O. Bending, snapping, turning, touched.
I'm off him. I'm off Zach
Nice
Bailey.
score.
He's just done the cardinal sin in AFL footy.
You turn inside forward 50.
No, I'm happy with that. Don't handball to a ruckman. It's a better game without him. We're wasting our time.
Because everyone was falling over. It looked like Zach Bailey was going to kick a cracking goal. Cats coming out of defence. Dunkley coming across Bruin. Slid in, taken high. He might have slid in, but he was trying to win the footy rather than draw a free kick. Rayner's drifting forward now. He's calling for it long. Danaher's there with Radagalair. Might be some shepherding to try and get a clear leading lane. They're just going to dump it. A shallow entry, though. Almost just fell into the lap there of Bailey unexpectedly. Shuffled along by Tui. McCluggage. Ball in dispute in the Lions attack. Picked up by Bruin. He gets that ball on his boot. Up towards the wing now. Tap down one-on-one. Harris Andrews. Rowan picks it up. He kicks it along the line into space. The lead of De Koning who's switched forward. Streaming forward is Dempsey. He goes in that direction. He's got two lines there with him. Robertson couldn't quite take the mark. Stanley's got a teammate in the goal square in close. Couldn't get it to him. Harris Andrews has close on his back like he's a kindergarten kid on having a piggyback. And now we've got a stoppage just in front of the Cats goal.
It's taken you only the full game to get one out, BT. You've just nailed it with 2 minutes to go in the last quarter.
Not how you start the game, it's how you finish the game.
Thank you, Funners.
The umpires always give votes based on the last 2 minutes. Anyway, Brett.
Yep.
Quick kick from Fort. Tries to clear the danger. Good contest there from Dan Rich. He continues to compete. He's really creeping up the list of all-time Lions games record, Dan Rich. What's he at?
He's up there now.
268.
268.
He would play in great footy. There's no doubt he'll play 300. Probably the year after next, obviously, if he gets some luck with his body. But, yeah, he's been a great serve in this half-back position the last several years has been his position, and hopefully he remains healthy.
O'Connor lowered the eyes, sending it back inside forward 50 for the Cats. To Koning, quick hands to his mini-me in Dempsey. Fed it backwards around the body snap, top of the square. Big Darcy Ford will fly against Stanley. Harris Andrews, hands and knees, spinning around. To Koning, kick out of the pack, smothered by Stanley. Get out of the way, big fella. Rayner stepped inside, did nicely. Now puts it in the Rich direction, who high flying, not his forte.
He's moving well. He's cramping in his calves. Rich.
Their big calves and he's crackling, and here goes Charlie Cameron. Was about to take on O'Connor in a foot race, one of the few blokes that could stay with him.
Minute remaining in this contest. Lions by 46 points. 13-13, 91, 6-9, 45 for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks Footy. Warm night in Springfield. A lot of tired bodies and a few cramps out there. You'd suggest here is Cameron just retreating, going back, and they just can kick the footy around and kick it down towards full time. Cam Rayner, has that been a success from this limited sample size tonight, playing down back, fellas?
I think it has. I really do. It's going to take some time to find his feet clearly down there, but I just like the way he goes about. He's competitive, he's ruthless, and you need that from a defender, and he's smart. And he's good one-on-one, body-wise. I like the look of it.
Geez, they're running out the game strongly here, the Lions, just finding uncontested kicks and marks. They've switched it from the broadcast side to the far side. Harry Sharp just got on the ground in the last quarter. He gets a touch up towards Darcy Fort on Segler. Adkins, as the siren's about to sound. Umpires picked out a free kick. Will go to Tom Adkins. And there is the siren, full time. A good night for the Brisbane Lions. The Cats had some winners from some of their young and new faces as well, but it has been the Brisbane Lions night. The full time score 13-13, 91, 6-9, 45 for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks Footy. Triple M Footy prime time for Jim Beam. A good win tonight for Brisbane. Had limited time to get ready for the season in terms of match practice, but I think everything that Chris Fagan wanted to get out of this game tonight, he has. Simon Black and Tom Rockcliffe.
Yeah, absolutely. They played a brand of footy that was really good ball in hand offensively, didn't they? They had ability to be able to move the ball fairly quickly throughout the middle of the ground, and that's obviously a feature of the game they're going to try and do more regularly, Rock. And the defensive part of the game, I mean, it's been, in some respects, these wet, slippery, dewy games are hard to get a lot out of, get good match fitness, but their defensive part of the game tonight, only 6 goals a kick. They didn't have their key forwards up there, but they defensively did a really good job, and they look like they're on top of their game. They've got a fit, healthy list, the Lions, and they look like they're going to jump into the season really well. For the Cats, look, they're in the position where they're just getting match fitness, really. Going to hopefully get their 2 key forwards back for round 1, and they'll be better for the run, and they would have started the pre-season a little bit later than a lot of the clubs, and they'll find their feet in the coming weeks, no doubt.
Yeah, certainly. Like Brisbane Lions, they couldn't have done any more tonight. They were faced with the opposition that were out there. They were impressive the way they went about it. Geelong, it's really hard to get a gauge on. We said before, there's so many of their stars missing, but I think the Brisbane Lions will be really happy with the summer that they've had. There's going to be a lot of pressure on them, as we've spoken about even tonight in the call. We all expect them to be there grand final day or thereabouts. So this is the year for them. That we know that potentially Daniel Rich is coming to the end, Danes Orko's coming to the end. Like, it'll be a great way to potentially send off these guys or get them a premiership before they finish up.
Their new recruits fitted in seamlessly, almost like they've been playing there for years. Will Ashcroft, Dunkley, Gunston, and Connor McKenna got a little bit of footy as well. Yeah,
absolutely, they did. The lead possession on the ground was Josh Dunkley, their new midfield recruit. So he looks fantastic, as does Jack Gunston in the forward line. He looks like he's going to fit in wonderfully well, and he'll be a great fillet for both Hipwood and for Danaher. So, as we know, you need a lot of luck with injuries over the course of the season, but the Brisbane look like they've got some good depth now, and the Cats are, no doubt they're going to be thereabouts again. So it's a good hit out for both sides tonight. Hugh McCluggage, we see on screen right now, he had another great night, another impressive performance, 26 possessions, and look, very class act.
More important than the results from a pre-season game, injuries. Let's get a wrap on that with Belinda Mellon, B.
Brisbane seemed to come a bit worse off on the injury front. Of course, we have Eric Hipwood with that cork on his knee. Payne had ice on his hamstring as they wrapped up the game. Link McCarthy had a massive ice on his quad also. And for the... As I mentioned, Hipwood was ruled out for the rest of the game, of course, with that cork, so that was not great for him. For the Cats, Colin Jasny had a concussion that ruled him out for the rest of the game, and Stewart came off sore very late in that game as well. Another thing, this is not an injury, boys, just an observation. Watching Will Ashcroft, didn't he look like Scott West, don't you think?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I thought so.
Well
a young Scott West.
Well played.
Work, B.
Triple M footy prime time for Jim Beam. 3 votes for Belinda Mellon tonight. Outstanding stuff. Choice hotels around the grounds. Whatever your reason for travelling, you'll get the lowest price guarantee when you book direct to choicehotels.com. So go ahead and book it. Just wrapping the other results. Pies over the Hawks by a goal. Injury there to Pat Lipinski. His shoulder popped out, and the Dockers over one of your former teams there, Rocky, the Power by 31 points. There was no Travis Boak. I think they gave him the night off. Jason Horn-Francis as well. So we don't read a lot into those results, but solid win for the Dockers.
Yeah, I think Port Adelaide will be disappointed with that performance. Travis Boak copped a heavy hit last week from Jeremy McGovern, so they'll be disappointed, I think, with their 2 pre-season games getting touched up. Not getting touched up, but losing last week to West Coast and then losing again tonight. But what a good performance tonight from the Brisbane Lions. They'll take the confidence to go down there round 1, take on Port Adelaide Oval, which is a hostile environment to go to, and Geelong take on Collingwood on the Friday night. So both these clubs have massive round 1 games, and again, Geelong, we don't know sort of where they're at. They had a few missing, and we said they were a little bit in holiday mode, a little bit like Brett tonight, but that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Sava Radagalier, though, big win. His move as a key defender looks like he's found a home there.
Yeah, he certainly has. I think he was really strong down there in defence. They've seen plenty of action down there, but his ability to come off at the right time, defend really well. So I think Geelong, they're right in the window again, as they always are. We write them off every year. We say they're too old, and they go out and dominate the competition last year. So another string to Radagalier's bow to be able to go down back.
And Tanner Bruin looked pretty strong as well from his 19 disposals. The Guthries played well, and Stengel lit it up late with a couple of goals from his 20 possessions. McDonald's, by the way, score a quick-fire 40 with 40 chicken McNuggets and Cajun dipping sauce from Macca's. Might have to drop in on the way home and get that. That sounds outstanding. Outstanding work from you guys tonight, Flanners.
Thanks, Peter. You feel better for the run?
Yes. Might need a couple more runs. Might go call some VFL before round one. The Lions have got the power.
You're a brilliant Flanners.
Thanks.
BT, I should say.
Champ is happy. You'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back after he gets out of Macca's eating that 40 from 40 chicken McNuggets. Triple M footy for prime time for Jim Beam. Full time here in Springfield. It was the Lions by 46 points. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
For Ream Hot Water,
Triple M rocks footy.
built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream.